Welcome to the Goods from the Woods. My name is Rivers Langley, and this is episode number 121 of the Corona Diaries. Thank y'all so much for being with us this week. Going to get the show started here in just a sec, but I'll tell you right now at the top of the show for all you Crystal Pistol heads that unfortunately Carter will not be on the show this week. He had to get his wisdom teeth pulled, so he was feeling six kinds of fucked up at the time in which we were going to record, but fear not, Carter will be back next week. So joining us in the final segment will be a first-time guest on this show, but a guy that I've been a big fan of for a long time. He is part of the Psychic Dolphin Garage podcast collective down there in Texas, as well as the host of his own hilarious podcast, Garbage In, Garbage Out. Kelton Brisack will be joining us in the in segment to talk about another gender reveal disaster that just happened. And also we've got a very hair metal jam of the day that I think you're going to love. Of course, we're going to be speaking to Sam Harder. Sam will be in the middle segment of this episode today, and I'm going to be drinking a very butt rock energy drink called Venom, so that should be fun. Oh, and also, you know, last week we talked about that teacher fighting her students in the McDonald's parking lot. Well, after we talked about that, I decided to ask y'all, the Goods from the Woods Studiverse, to write in to us at the Goods Pod on Twitter about times that you either made a teacher get really mad or saw a teacher get really mad. And some of y'all who are teachers actually wrote in to talk about times y'all got mad too. So the responses were absolutely incredible. So Sam and I are going to be reading those coming up in the middle segment. But to get things started today, we have to talk about the passing last week of Rush Limbaugh. And to do that, I wanted to bring on a friend of mine, a friend of the show, to tell us about his experience briefly working with the, I don't know, gladly departed. I don't know how to say it. So anyway, let's not waste any more of his time because he's standing by. He is a writer. He is a great stand-up comedian. He is also the guest on the most downloaded episode in Goods from the Woods history. He was our guest back in 2017 for episode number 168, which was all about Garth Brooks' alter ego, Chris Gaines. So very excited to bring him back on the show. Standing by now in Tinseltown, it's Jim Hegarty. What's going on, Jim?
Oh, not much. I'm honored to know that that's the highest rated or most listened to podcast on your podcast. Chris, it's so weird. That will always be so weird.
I mean, I am very proud of that episode, and you're hilarious on it. But I have to be honest. I think if I'm being real honest with myself, I think it's because Garth is just not available on YouTube or Spotify. He's made himself very scarce. I think he is exclusive with Amazon Music, which no one uses. So I think when people search for it, they find us a lot of times.
Yeah. Well, I think what ended up happening is he never wanted to just put singles out like on digital stuff. It was like you could only buy his albums and all that stuff. So yeah, there's a limited amount, much in the way that like I'm sure someone who did a cover of Prince that hasn't been taken down on YouTube yet is like, wow, why are these numbers through the roof? It's like because the actual version of that song they wanted to hear is not up there. You end up with a lot of older musicians like Don Henley who hire people to take down all that stuff. Like,
yeah.
He gives people yearly salaries to be like, don't let them do a cover of Hotel California.
Yeah, they're taking down Jim Belushi's terrible band covers of Don Henley songs or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, like, I always think it's hilarious. It's like, you can demonetize it, but like, I mean, like people end up with copyright strikes and stuff like that. And you're like, oh, that's really unfair, man. That guy just took hours to learn that song. He's really proud of it. He's not trying to like start a YouTube like empire here.
Yeah, he's not doing dorm room acoustic covers. He learned the harmonics at the end. The
yeah. Well, and think of how many times like what Don Felder's released videos of him just doing the solo of Hotel California, and you're just like, we don't need that. I'd much rather listen to someone else. They're like, it's impressive. I could listen to it on the album. Like,
sure. I mean, I guess we can do this little follow-up since I got you here. Did you see the Garth Brooks documentary where he finally talked about Chris Gaines for the first time in 20 years?
Oh, that like Netflix 2-part whatever thing? Yeah, I did watch it. It was really funny. I watched it and I was like, this is weird. And then I remember texting my dad. I'm like, you might enjoy this. I don't even mean it. I don't even mean it like meanly to my dad or to Garth Brooks. It was just one of those things where I was like, yeah, it's odd. He is very, I mean, like, I guess the thing that's blown up is the whole Tom Segura his fans just troll Garth Brooks's Instagram page and stuff. And I'm like, it is because he's a little bit like, it's like he's a robot. Like, it's like he's I don't think he had, like, everything becomes super solemn and super earnest and you go like, dude, I just want to have a normal conversation with you.
He's almost like an athlete in that way. Like, he was so singularly driven for so long, and now that he's older and can rest on his laurels, you realize like, oh, that was the pursuit is all there was, almost, you know.
Do you I always have this question. I know he like quit doing country music for like 15 years because his daughters were growing up and he wanted to be around his daughters. Do you think he quit and is like, I'll make you breakfast every day? And they're like, I don't want dad around.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. They're like, dad needs to quit shuffling around the house. He's bumming me out.
Yeah, I think and I can almost guarantee you, like he seems like a very driven guy, and that's not exactly a personality trait you can turn off.
Right.
So I'm sure it's like, you get out there and you mow the lawn like you're the best lawnmower in the world.
Yeah, you mow the shit out of that lawn, son. Yeah. Well, the funny thing about that documentary, and I have to confess, I fast forwarded straight to the Chris Gaines part because I was like, you know what, I'm mildly interested in Rope in the Wind and No Fences, but let's be honest here. Are we going to talk about it? And when he gets into it, the funniest part of it is he goes, ask my wife what her favorite Garth Brooks album is. And it cuts to Trisha Yearwood, and she is horned up talking about Chris Gaines. She adores that, and that is that's like around the time I think they got together too, which really it's just so funny to me.
It makes you wonder if you were like allowed to like wander through their bedroom. They probably obviously both have their own like dressing rooms, like they have those like big walk-in closets. I guarantee you, at the ready are Chris Gaines, like the Chris Gaines tights, the Chris Gaines soul patch, the Chris Gaines wig. And it's that thing where she's just like, oh, you know who hasn't stopped by the house in a while?
Oh.
Chris Gaines. And then he's like, oh no, I don't fit in those tights anymore.
When we did that episode a couple years ago, somebody tweeted me a picture of an embroidered pillow that somebody had made that says Garth on the streets, Gaines in the sheets. and now after seeing that documentary, I was like, oh no, it's real. It's real. He is to Trisha Yearwood. Yeah, she makes him put on the whole outfit. He's got the tunic. He's got the fucking, he's got to put his hands in V's over his eyes when he looks at her,
I gotta say, the thing that always, I want to read the script for that movie.
Yes.
That was supposed to be starring Chris Gaines. That's my only thing that I'm like, hey, if I got a mystery email from someone, like just a throwaway Gmail account that just has that as a PDF, I'm gonna stop. I don't care if my fiance is like telling me like, hey, we need to have a conversation about a relationship. I'm like, it can wait 45 minutes until I read the script.
Yeah. She's like, Jim, honey, please come to bed. Not now. I'm getting to the
I'm having second
part.
thoughts, and you're just like, great, more time to read the script.
Oh man, I wish we had more listeners that were like plugged into Hollywood like that. Maybe I'll try to run that up the flagpole and and see if we can't get a hold of it. But because
I always
it
imagine
exists, it's out there.
It's gotta. Well, and it's, you know what it is. It was in a time before like Dropbox and things like that. So it's probably printed out in like in a banker's box.
Yes,
in someone's storage unit. After they close the production office down there.
It's like the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's just slowly being loaded onto the shelf with everything else.
Well, that's like a thing, and it kind of goes into what we'll probably talk about today.
Yes.
I've worked on enough TV shows to realize there are just warehouses full of just like, I've gone to them. I've gone to these warehouses full of like, hey, do you need lamps? We have like 300 lamps from the past TV shows we've worked on.
Oh, yeah.
We have everything under the sun, and all the paperwork and everything has to be backed up in duplicate, and there's got to be digital copies. But then they go out into the middle of nowhere where you could probably find all the old sets for shows, for pilot episodes of shows that weren't picked up back in 2010, like in a warehouse out in like Sylmar or up in Chatsworth and all those things.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'll say like, my favorite part of the Warner Brothers studio tour is when they take you to the prop house.
Yeah.
And there was one that blew my mind. I'll post a picture of it at the Goods Pod. There was this, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was wooden bust of a screaming Viking. Like it's got like the Viking helmet and the guy's just like, like mouth fully open, and it's like pretty fucking cool. And underneath it, it just has photos from about 15 movies that this thing has been in, where it was like in Matrix Reloaded, and I think the Titanic, and like all this shit. And you're just like, wow, that's just fucking wild, you know? So
there's a really great guy named Video Bob Mosley. Like I've seen a couple of his videos. My brother loves the show Knight Rider, and he keeps sending me these links to Video Bob. And Video Bob owns, I think he's trying to sell it now. He's trying to sell the car that was Kit in the TV movie for Knight Riders 2000 or Knight Rider 2000. And it's this old, but it's a car that was made cheaply. It was like fiberglass on top of an old Dodge Stealth that after that they put it in like there's like I think a RoboCop series or some future series. There was a Power Rangers show. They used it as like a prop car and a bunch of stuff. And you just look at it and you go, oh yeah, that's what happens. Things just get a new coat of paint. They get put in the like corner of as an extra in a shot and all those things. It's rather ridiculous and interesting in some regards too.
Yeah. Let's get into what we're talking about here today, which is the passing of Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh died last week, and it was interesting because I was on a walk with my mom, who's, very, very sweet lady, and I was just like, oh, Rush Limbaugh died, and she's like, oh, that's good. Just very and so this whole week has just been it's the much stupider version of the conversation that happened when Osama bin Laden died, basically, where it's like, is it okay to celebrate someone's death? And it's like, you don't get brownie points for nice behavior. At the end of the day, go ahead and do whatever you want, is my thought on it. But Jim posted a story on Facebook that lit up every light bulb in my pinball machine, which is about the time that you worked on a particular TV show that I am kind of obsessed with. And it's also a story that involves Rush Limbaugh. So, Jim, if you would, tell the listeners about this experience that you had dealing with the man himself, the late L. Rushbo.
The Rush Limbaugh incident. It's not it's not an incident so much as it's an experience.
An encounter.
An encounter. It was, I moved to Los Angeles in 2006, and I'd been here about 6 months, and it was like January of 2007. I actually got I got a call about doing some PA work, just, the guy who runs and gets donuts, picks up props, does all those things. I was like my third job in Los Angeles, and it was like, yeah, I need to pay the rent. So I get called to work on this pilot for a Daily Show type project. And I was like, that's cool. I like the Daily Show. And like, sometimes you get vague information. Sometimes they won't tell you exactly the show you're working on. Sometimes it was also, the internet's not exactly what it was. So you don't just get to kind of go like, oh, it's a thing for NBC and it starts filming in January, or it's in a thing for ABC and it's a pilot project. You can do your own internet sleuthing. This ended up being for the half-hour news hour.
Yes.
It was Fox's attempt at the Daily Show.
No, we should clarify. Not Fox. Fox News.
Fox News. Yeah, it was made by Fox for Fox News.
Fox has done things that are funny. Fox News, no.
Yeah. So Fox. Yeah, I guess that's very, very. That delineation is important. So it was a couple of days worth of work, and one of the things was I got sent to pick up, go to the warehouse for the show 24 and pick up their version of the Resolute desk and a backdrop of the Oval Office, back like the windows and everything. And I was to bring it down because we were going to be filming a sketch. I was like, cool, that's great. Getting that desk in the back of a moving van is not fun. Like, it's like, it was not designed to get put on the back. It was, I think we may have damaged a bit.
Dude,
I don't know.
It's so crazy you mentioned that it's the shit from 24 because the show was created by the guy who created 24.
Yeah. Oh, he was on set. I don't think I really interacted with him, but yeah, he was a producer, and I think it was one of those things where it's like you get some Hollywood clout, and you're like, hey, I'd like to. He has the money. That was a very popular show, very successful. So he got to make the conservative Daily Show. But it was what happened was we brought all those things to this soundstage, and we're gonna film this sketch, and it was like it's about what if Rush Limbaugh was the president of the United States, and what if Ann Coulter was the vice president, and I sat there going like. There's that's a premise.
Yeah,
like that fits the rules of a premise. Yeah, what could you do with that?
Right. If somebody with a good deal of talent, wrote that sketch, I could see myself laughing at such a thing.
Yeah, it's like, well, what's the angle? Like with any sketch, what's the angle? Yeah, right. You could do that. But I actually had the thought to myself of like, oh, I wonder who they're going to get to play Rush Limbaugh and Ann Coulter. And well, I was very quickly corrected. They didn't get anyone to play Rush Limbaugh and Ann Coulter. They got Rush Limbaugh and Ann Coulter.
Good evening, my fellow Americans.
Making dittos.
Thank you. We have just completed the first 100 days of our administration executing the office flawlessly. 0 mistakes. Well, let's take a look at our report card so far. I have it right here. What do you know? Straight A's. We've excelled in every conceivable area. Employment, 100%. Inflation, 0.
And tell them about that foreign stuff.
Oh, yeah. Peace between the Israelis and Palestinians. Bin Laden, dead. Al-Qaeda rolled up. North Korea, no more nukes.
And?
Oh, yeah, right. The one they said couldn't be done, Britney Spears is wearing panties again.
America thanks you, sir.
Well, thank you. It wasn't easy. Anyway, now that America's back on track, I will be taking a much-deserved vacation. In my absence, Vice President Coulter here will be the leader of the free world. I'll see you in about a month, Madam Vice President. Our little Dr. Democracy will be out there on the golf course. If you need anything, call Secretary of State Drudge. He'll handle whatever you need.
Cool. Hello, Pentagon. This is Acting President Coulter. Are there any countries we haven't invaded yet? Canada.
So we're on set. It's January. They're filming this sketch and they love it. They think everything is so funny about it. And I've never heard something less funny. Like there's no jokes. There's not even a rhythm of comedy. Like it's that idea of like, it just feels like a weird recitation of cruel headlines.
Yeah.
Like all of it from wall to wall.
This is from Pop Matters. It says, the pilot episode featured a sketch with Rush Limbaugh as the president and Ann Coulter as the vice president. At one point, the commander-in-chief asked the VP if she would like to join him in a cigar. And then, quote, isn't the White House a smoke-free zone? Coulter asks. Not anymore, Rush Limbaugh replies with his trademark smugness. Cue the laugh track. So that's kind of
the laugh track was horrible.
And what's funny about that is where it's like, I guess that's supposed to be like, you can't smoke in restaurants anymore. Like it's, an affront to personal liberty. But like they missed like the most obvious joke they could have gone for, which is that Bill Clinton fucked a girl with a cigar. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. And it was, that was like the end. Like that was the end of the sketch. Like there's no heightening in that sketch at all. That was like, it was the most level sketch. It was like, let's set this at 1 and keep it there the entire time. Because all the stuff he talks about in it are like every one of his talking points.
Right.
It's basically like, oh, this has come to pass but there's no punchline to it. There's no twist. There's no turn. There's no like,
right.
Oh, wow. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
The thing that the one part that really bugged me was there's like a whole, so like Cindy Sheehan was, her son was killed in combat in Iraq. Yeah. She was very anti-war, anti-violence. She went and protested. She like lived in a ditch in a tent near George Bush's ranch in Texas.
Yeah.
And his quote unquote joke in the sketch was, And now that Cindy Sheehan's cross-country shooting spree has come to are still present in our minds, you go, dude, that lady, her son was taken with violence. Like all you're trying to do is slander her as crazy when she's and like, oh, a crazy gun nut. You're like, whoa. You look back on the last 20 years, how much gun violence and stuff is happening. It's not from the super anti-war people. Like you're just trying to label people as crazy. And I felt like that was like, if you're gonna make a joke, all you're trying to do is just like paint contempt on a person and like be like, haha, I'm allowed to think they're crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man.
Well, and I hate that I can even make my brain go here, but I'm like, if my job was to write a conservative show and you were trying to make fun of, maybe not her specifically because her story is so, but then again, people writing on this show hypothetically wouldn't give a shit because they're fucking heartless monsters. But if you're trying to paint some like left-wing kook as being crazy, it's so strange that they went with like a cross-country shooting spree when it's like, no, the whole reason you are making fun of these people is because their protests are ineffective. That's like how it's like
the joke. Yeah,
like
the joke isn't there to you went the exact wrong way in an attempt at a joke, and it still failed.
Yeah,
and it was
yeah. So I have a very specific memory of sitting there watching TV and seeing a commercial for this show, and just being like, oh my God, like they're going to try it. And it was almost like watching a Jackass stunt or something. You're just like, how it is going to end, but you kind of can't wait to see it a little bit.
You know what I kind of equated it to? It's like in high school, they have a talent show, and some of the like music kids, the theater kids, they form a band, or they have a band and they're really good and they play. But then in response, the jocks are like, we could be a rock band too. And you're like, no, you're not talented to do it. Like, and they just get up there and they play through the chords of Nothing Else Matters or something.
Yeah.
And then they do a terrible job and they're like, we did it. And you're like, no. You're not 2 steps away from a Grammy, you weirdos.
That's so funny you mentioned that. My freshman year, I went to a small liberal arts college outside of Birmingham called Montevallo, and they don't have they have like sports teams, but riding that line between minor league and intramural. So they don't really have like a big game every year, like a homecoming game. So instead, they do this thing called Purple and Gold Days, where basically they split up the campus. There's purple side and there's gold side. And it's essentially the purple side is like the drama theater kids, because it is like a small, ostensibly liberal arts college. So there are like a tremendous amount of that, those kind of people. And then there's like the, business major jocks, I guess, for lack of a better word. And they make them each do a play and then play a basketball game. And that's kind of their like homecoming tradition, I guess.
I like the idea that they like lean into the like, we'll do something you're strong at and we'll do something you're strong at. And then it's like,
yeah, but the problem is the jocks have more friends that show up to vote. So they usually end up sweeping anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So it's exactly what you're talking about. Just like, yeah, we'll do a stupid play. And then everybody, they end up winning, which is, frankly, make fun of Rush as much as you want. The dude died a millionaire with a Presidential Medal of Freedom. It's like, I think that's a perfect reason that it's cool to make fun of the guy, because he won. He fucking won.
Yeah. There's no punching down when it comes to Rush Limbaugh. Like,
no.
He had everything. How many divorces did it? Like, for every success that someone would want to put on someone's like headstone, like, hey, he did this, he did that. Like, it's that on the epitaph of a person. You could also go like, yeah, but he's also like multi-time divorced. He like had a huge Oxycontin addiction, which an addiction in and of itself, I'm not trying to put that down.
Yeah.
It's the idea he spent so much time judging, and the vitriol he brought to other people
drug addicts
having drug issues.
Yeah.
And you get zero sympathy from me when you're that broken and that like your self-awareness doesn't exist to even go like, hey, maybe some level of empathy. I have a similar problem.
Yeah.
But he just felt like it's the idea of all he ever seemed to do was take people and things that he didn't like even if it was for a similar reason to something he has, he's still like, no, I need more people to hate these people.
Yeah. And that ideology, goddamn, if it didn't become the political climate that we all live in now.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
so the dude won. Like, so you can absolutely say rest in piss, fuck you, Rush Limbaugh, because we live in his head now.
Sure. He is, he effectively changed the temperature in the room.
Yeah.
Like, it's no longer like, I think there's that weird thing of like, I remember my grandfather was a conservative guy, but he was never like aggressive about, I mean, he passed away long before everything kind of got to what it was. He's been gone since 2004. But he used to like, he would watch CNN because it was about the news. Like, it wasn't this thing where like merely because it's CNN, you need to hate everything they say and everything that's Fox News or Newsmax or OAN or whatever. You go like, it changed. It's now so it's like my side versus your side. Sure. And you're like, ugh, it's just, there's something I always see on Facebook, which makes me laugh is, since I work in television, I'm looking for jobs and, there's always postings for new like positions and things like that. One that keeps coming up is a producer position for Tucker Carlson's show.
Oh, Christ.
And it's like, it's funny because you just go, oh, they're posting that position again. Like it'll come up, someone will cross post or something like that. And I go, oh, they're still looking for that position. And then you just go like, every other thing on that post would be like three comments or something that's like, oh, you should apply to this and all this stuff. Theirs is always like 75 comments and none of them are like, they're like, hey man, it ranges from, hey, you keep posting this post. No one cares, all the way down to, oh, gross. This show is garbage. Like that level of what Facebook is.
Right. Yeah, of course. That's so funny. It's almost like the high turnover rate Arby's where they just can't keep a fry-a-later guy. Where you're just like, obviously this job sucks. No one wants to do this.
Well, yeah. Well, and I also think there was interesting, just to tie it back to the half-hour news hour.
Yes.
I don't think the writers on the half-hour news hour were all conservative writers.
No,
I think a lot of them were writers who took the job.
Yeah, they got. I mean, not that Bill. I mean, I think the argument can definitely be made that Bill Maher is a fucking conservative, and a lot of his views, probably the most toxic of his views, I would say he's an ultra fucking conservative. But one of his writers was writing on this show, like left Bill Maher to go write for this show, and the creator of 24, while 24 does sort of glorify Bush era torture and all that shit, he's still a fucking rich Hollywood guy, so this is absolutely just an opportunity for a cash in. But I don't know, but yeah, I want you to finish the story. What was Rush's like kind of attitude on sets, or how did he come off?
I don't know if this is a testament to him or whatever. He was exactly the same guy that was on radio. Like, it wasn't a thing where he turned it on or turned it off. He was kind of that blowhard, like sort of like like he wanted to go, like he really was loving the lines he was getting to say. It was like that glorious lack of self-awareness where he was just sort of like, oh, this is so funny. And then he said it with no affect whatsoever. He just said it with his normal radio voice of like,
wow, tremendous.
Oh, yeah. With the re-election or with the election having happened and I'm the president, you go like, there's no performance to this other than he knows how to do radio.
Yeah, for sure.
And there was a lot of that. I mean, it happens on every set. I've been on sets where, hey, they do a take and they go like, that was kind of funny. And then everyone would huddle together and try to figure out a funnier line, or they'd be like, say it like this time and everything.
Let's do a fun one.
Yeah, it was a really weird thing where it's like, you know what it almost felt like? It felt like if you went to a gun range and someone fired off a bunch of rounds and didn't hit the target, but then like everyone else on the line gathered together and they got in a huddle, and then they came out and the guy's like, yeah, and he fires again and doesn't hit the target. Like, it's just like, what was that huddle for?
I have some stats for the half-hour news hour.
Awesome.
So it premiered February 18th, 2007. So we just passed the anniversary, and was canceled September 23rd, 2007. They produced 17 episodes total. And what's funny is they have a write-up on Wikipedia of all the episodes, but they stopped reviewing at 6. Like, whoever was sitting there writing out what premises they were doing was just like, I can't do the rest. So he just gave up.
I know like a Bill Maher show is like once a week, but like a daily show is like 4 times a week.
Right.
So you sit there and go like, I don't think they had the skill or they had the energy to like nothing involved. It's like there's not enough comedy even in that pilot episode to go. I mean, when you think about it, the pilot was filmed in January. I guess it aired in February. So you're like, comedy is not evergreen in that regard. Like comedy, current event topics die within a week.
Right.
I mean, and look at the Donald Trump era. They were dead inside of 36 hours.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know, and I want to talk about that too in a second. My last little stat, though, and this is incredible. The website Metacritic is an aggregate of all of the critical responses to television shows, and currently Metacritic has 2,791 shows that you can read the aggregate score of, and the half-hour news hour is, and you can maybe put this on your resume, Jim, the half-hour news hour is 2,791 out of 2,791.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
The lowest rated television program that Metacritic has on their website.
That feels like a Razzie sort of situation where like, I'll go and accept the award.
Oh, dude, I'd put that in my Twitter bio if I was you. I'd be like, I worked on the lowest rated show ever of all time.
I brought them bagels and I got that desk.
Yeah, I got Rush Limbaugh's desk.
I brought the strongest part of that entire sketch. That is a top-notch desk. One of the really funny things is I used to watch some of 24, like I think here and there. It was like one of those like, remember back when you used to be like, oh, so what's on at 9:00?
Sure, yeah.
Like, and you would just watch it. So like one time I was watching 24 and there's a whole scene. I mean, this has probably happened a billion times, but Jack Bauer was like chasing someone down and they get in a firefight near a dumpster. And I'm looking at the alleyway they're in. I'm like, that's where I got that desk from. Like, that door over there is their warehouse door. Like they clearly just were like, hey, let's just shoot it in the back. And we'll just, it made me laugh because I was just like, wait a second. Hold on. Why does that look familiar? I mean, that is a lot of what living in LA is.
Oh, sure.
So much stuff is filmed here. You're just like, why does that street look familiar? And then like you look it up, you're like, oh yeah, it was in Seven. It was in The Dark Knight Rises. Like all those. It's actually creepy because it feels like it's the opposite of like a place being new because it is new to you, but it's kind of familiar. Like, you don't know how you know it.
I found this also. This is from a Vulture article from 2013 about the half-hour news hour, and it's the one element that we haven't really talked about here, which is, of course, Dennis Miller featured very heavily on the program. He had his own segment called "The Buck Starts Here." This is from the article. Miller runs down a list of grievances and calls on Americans to stop with all the multiculturalism because it's making us hard to know whom to kill next. All right, cool.
Wow.
Stranger still, Miller's laugh-free segments spit in the face of his mastery of making and telling jokes. Okay, well, that's debatable, Vulture. Though, when he does bother to make one, like when he describes a vote by Hillary Clinton as having so many twists and turns, it makes San Francisco's Lombard Street look like Paris's Champs-Élysées. And that drives home right to the problem of how this thing couldn't have worked, which is, the very nature of satire depends on people having a firm grasp on reality, I think,
It's like you got to know the rules before you can break the rules. You can't write your own rules and then break those rules.
Yes, exactly. And so I wrote this little thing here. This was just my thoughts on it. Liberals are the masters of satire, but they're also the only ones who find it funny. Stephen Colbert once said reality has a well-known liberal bias at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and then the center ceased to hold. Things fell apart, and when the person that you're trying to make fun of rejects reality entirely or just embraces what they are, what do you have left to satirize? The right-wing reaction to satire was brutal shamelessness, and they won. It turns out you don't have to be smarter than Jon Stewart. You just have to make the ground that everyone stands on slippery. The Emperor knows he's naked and is yelling at you for being a bitch about it. Or as we've seen with them, to completely taking the word cancel culture away from the left and misusing it, they'll say that you're body shaming the Emperor. So that was my early morning thoughts on when I was going back and reviewing the half-hour news hour. I'm like, why doesn't this work? And it's like, because satire only... It might not even be an effective political project, but it's only effective if your grasp of what's going on is rooted in reality. I don't know. You have to understand so much kayfabe, so much constructed reality to kind of get a lot of the jokes even that are in the half-hour news hour. Like, you have to be a Rush Limbaugh listener to know that, like, okay, Rush Limbaugh believes in a thing called the nanny state. Okay, well, what is the nanny state?
Even like the ditto heads thing, like his whole like mega dittos. You go, what is that? And you have to realize, oh, if you're a listener of his show, you'd understand that he calls people in the know that. I'm like, okay, I wouldn't know every nickname of a thing, but I always equated this show. My review of it is it's a show for your uncle who forwards you emails you never asked for.
Yeah,
like that's entirely what it is. And you also realize, like, oh, maybe I just don't relate to it because there's a level of empathy, or there's a level of like, hey, the world's not just this like grievance. Like it's like everything is what they grieve about is just like they're like, well, I was just joking. It's like, no, you were complaining.
Yeah.
But a complaint can be a premise, but the joke has to be there. Like,
right.
You have to put a joke at the end of it.
Yeah.
Like, we all have to learn that lesson, and they did it with a nationally televised show.
Right. The last little thing I wanted to share with you here, and you may have seen this or may have not. This is from CNN. Florida's governor announced that he'll order flags in the state flown at half staff to honor the late conservative radio host Rush Limbaugh, who he called an absolute legend and a great person. So they're they're lowering the flags in Florida for this guy. This is a quote from Ron DeSantis. Quote, once the date of internment for Rush is announced, we're going to be lowering the flags to half staff. The governor said that the honor is what we do when there's things of this magnitude. And
that's really weird.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's weird to a point, but I think I know this is the next little sentence is kind of what I was getting at a little bit. The move doesn't seem to fit the state's flag protocol, which calls for flags to be flown at half staff in the event of a death of a present or former official of the state of Florida, or the death of a member of the armed forces from Florida who dies while serving on active duty. And that's not anybody's quote. That is just in the CNN article. And my thing is, like, pointing this out does what? Like, you sound like a fucking hall monitor. You know what I mean? Like, tell the truth. The truth is that Ron DeSantis did this to piss off liberals and to raise money from conservatives. Like, if you think that he's not shooting out an email blast to every person on his list and being like, pour one out for the dead homie Rush, give me $5, we're lowering the flags to half staff. Look how pissed off it made all of these fucking liberals, you know?
Yeah. But I think there's so many political moves these days are really out of securing your base.
Yeah.
And well, you just realize, like, hey, I don't think that does, like, how many conservatives go like, hey, we really want bipartisanship. It's like, well, every action you're taking is the opposite of that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, and, you know, and not to let the other, you know, fucking side off the hook at all. It's this exact same goddamn thing when Nancy Pelosi ripped up that speech behind Donald Trump. It cost her nothing. It riles up the base and it pisses off chuds, and she can raise money off of it. It's the same meaningless, like, it's a way to avoid doing anything for normal people, is just have this big stupid fight about some meaningless shit. Like, who cares if he's lowering the flags? Like, you can totally see, you know, if the shoe was on the other foot, you know, and some liberal hero died in California and they lowered the flag for him, and it's going to piss a lot of people off and it'll raise some money.
Yeah, of course. And the sad thing is this state of how things are, it's been an ever evolving thing where it's become way more partisan, like over the last 15, 20 years. It's just going to continue. Like, it's not like this is where it's going to stay. Like, it's going to be Rush Limbaugh this time. There's going to be a back and forth forever. And then, like, we're all going to be like Batman in that nightmare sequence in Batman versus Superman, where you're just sort of like, wow, how did things get to here? We're all in a Mad Max sort of desert world.
Oh, was the whole movie not a nightmare sequence?
Oh, well, yeah. The part of the movie that they've
I know what you mean.
Phrased as nightmare.
Yeah. God.
Which we can expect more of in the Justice League.
Oh, dude, I'm so stoked for that, man. It's going to be so goddamn funny.
There is a morbid curiosity.
100%.
For myself, me and several people I know who are Batman fans are just sort of like, I know it's not going to be great, or it's not going to be this thing, this mythical thing that someone could build in their brain, but I just want to see what it is. And if it's entertaining, 4 hours, arguably way too long. That's 2 movies.
Oh, it's hilarious, though. That's going to be, because I already find everything that Zack Snyder does to just be, I've said before, he is joyless Michael Bay. You know, people are always like, they'll come down on, Michael Bay a lot and be like, oh, he's all like explosions. I'm like, yeah, but you could tell he's a man who knows how to have fun.
Yeah, he knows how to color grade movies.
Right. And Zack,
correctly is not the right word. Like, he goes orange and blue in everything.
I was going to say, he knows where the saturation bar is on everything.
Yeah. Zack Snyder goes
the other way.
He goes like grainy and gray.
Yeah. Man, but yeah, it's I am looking forward to it. But man, well, Jim, this has been really fun. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. We'll have to have you back on whenever we can all be in the same room again and talk about some nerdy shit we'll dig down into. But in the meantime, please tell people where they can find you on the internet.
Ooh, that's a really good. Let's see. I don't have a Twitter anymore. Okay. I have an Instagram. It's just Jim Hegarty, Hegarty. And since we've all been stuck inside, it's mostly pictures of my dog. That's about it.
Wait, people love that. People love that stuff.
He's the best. He doesn't pay any rent, and he is way cuter than I am. So
hey, there you go.
It's a trade-off. I get some useless internet points because of his cuteness. So that's the easiest place to find me. Other than that, I'm just kind of working in TV shows and things like that.
Nice. Well, yeah, man, this is fun. I miss seeing you around at the damn mics. Maybe we'll be back at it one of these days. But in the meantime, thanks for doing this. This was awesome.
Yeah, till then, stay safe.
All right, man. Take her easy.
Speaking of Satan, I was watching Rush Limbaugh the other day. Can't you see his fat body in a tub while Reagan, Quayle, and Bush just stand around pissing on him, and his little piggly wiggly dick can't get hard. I can't get hard. Reagan, pee in my mouth. Well, how's that, Rush?
Calling in now from the City of Angels, it's America's next door neighbor, Sam Harder. What's up, dude?
Hey, how are you doing? Not much, just chilling. Sitting on the couch, enjoying the LA weather.
Oh boy, it's nice down here too, actually, right now. It's like sitting at 70 degrees. Feels like a nice spring day. It's totally normal, considering we had the most fucked up winter weather that the South has ever experienced less than a week ago. So now we're in sandals and shit.
Yeah, that made me really glad I moved out of Texas.
Hopefully everybody down there is doing all right?
Seems like it. My family seems all good. It sucked for them for about 2 or 3 days.
Oh, shit.
My parents were like boiling water to keep warm in the kitchen. We're just hanging out in there, I guess. And 40 degrees inside the house. Jeez, 30 to 40 if they weren't boiling water, cooking something or whatever.
Oh man.
Lots of pipes bursting from what I hear. But as far as I know, everybody's safe. Okay. Everybody I know, at least. Definitely not everybody's safe, but the people who are surrounded by me or the opposite are fine.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to hear.
Did it get bad where you were?
No, it was weird because we were just below it. Like literally the county north of us got snow and stuff like that, but Auburn was fine. It was just a little chilly. Plus, we are on the East Coast federal grid, which has been weatherized. Mm-hmm. So as opposed to, by now everybody probably knows, the grid down in Texas is its own independent thing, And in order to become part of the federal grid, which they could have easily just, gotten power from elsewhere, they would have had to have weatherized all their power lines and substations. And basically Texas told the government to go fuck itself. And that's where we're at.
Texas loves to save a couple bucks. Let me tell you, as somebody who used to live there, kind of penny pinchers. It was one of the classic, this will never happen.
Yeah, it's fine. It's Texas.
It sucks that normally they'd be right, but
right.
Not this time.
Yeah.
Seems like community's been helping each other out a lot.
Well, that's good.
During that hurricane in Houston, rapper Trey the Truth was driving around his lifted F-350, saving people from their homes who were flooded in.
Whoa.
And over last week, he went to a McDonald's and bought them out for the entire day, and then just went and passed around food to people.
So check this out, man. We on 45 in Edgebrook, man. Another blessing. The McDonald's allowed us to actually come in and buy them out. Shout out to the manager right here. As you can see, nobody's in the store. You're not even allowed in the store, man. She let me come in here to buy everything that we need to buy to take out to the community. So shout out to them, 45 Edgebrook. Anytime y'all can, make sure y'all come just support them just for standing up, especially when they didn't have to. But because of them, they're assisting us, and we on the way to give out meals to a whole bunch of people. Y'all stay tuned. DM Relief Gang or call the Relief Gang hotline if your area need food. We on the way.
Rapper Trey the Truth. Good guy.
Whoa, man, that is awesome. Holy shit.
He's very in the community help thing in Houston, Texas. And when something like this happens, he really goes out of his way, it seems like.
That's awesome. And it's also sad that we're in a country where that's down to rappers to do.
Yeah.
Seems like that's more
guys
of
a... guys who make their money and they're like, I guess I'll just spend it on my community who desperately needs it.
Right, because the government whose job it is to do that is not going to fucking be any help. So it's, we're getting our musicians to do that for us. So we're a normal country.
Yeah, I don't know if it's anywhere else in the country, but in the South, I've never in my lifetime seen the government accurately and timely respond to a natural disaster.
Right.
I don't know if that's just me. Maybe I haven't been paying attention, but seems like they never have that one down. They never plan for it. They never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Which is weird because only a couple different things can happen. No power, no water, everybody fucked. Seems like you sort of planned for that.
Hey, well, speaking of disasters, I put up a poll on Twitter this week for...
Speaking of disasters, let's start the podcast.
Yeah. I put up a poll like I did last week. Last week I had an energy drink poll with... couple different choices and stuff like that, but last week the choices were gas station energy drinks. This week I decided to go exclusively dollar store energy drinks.
A lot of people don't know that that's one of the best places to score energy drinks.
Yeah, well, that's where I did find Rip It for the first time at a gas station, but it is a dollar store classic. And I actually found Rip It's, sugar-free Rip It's at the Dollar Tree, which is one of the last, in the South anyway, true dollar stores where...
Oh, really?
Yeah, because down here we've got Family Dollar and Dollar General, and both of those places, all their items are not $1. But Dollar Tree, sticking to the gimmick. Everything in there's $1.
That's good to hear. And a lot of people don't know that that's like the outlet store for energy drinks that you see at the gas station. You say, who the fuck would buy this? People who shop at Dollar Tree would.
Well, no, you see them at the gas station, you're like, who would buy this? And the answer is no one. And then they get sold back to the Dollar Tree. I believe it's how that works. I found a Monster energy yerba mate that I'd never seen before. It was like dragon tea or something. And I was like, what? Like, how did I'd never seen this before? And then it just sort of got shipped back to Dollar Tree and it was there. But that one was not on.
And you buy that? That sounds very good.
No, I didn't, because it was yerba mate. I was like, this almost doesn't count.
Yeah, the regular yerba mate is almost soda anyways with the amount of sugar it has in it.
Yeah, exactly. And
they're all so sweet.
Yeah, and I'm sure Monster does not break from that tradition in any way.
Yeah.
So, no, the ones I got 3 at the Dollar Tree, and then I had to round out and find a 4th one at Family Dollar. And the choices for this one were the sugar-free Rip It Tribute. So the tribute to the troops in its digital camo can, Mandarin lime flavor. The next one,
you drink it in the deer blind. That's why it has camo.
The next one was very curious. It's a Celsius Heat jackfruit, and someone pointed this out on Twitter, and I it's part of the reason I picked it up is that every time I've ever had jackfruit, it's been as like a replacement for meat in like either my favorite jackfruit thing is the Trader Joe's has a jackfruit yellow curry with rice that's really good if you're trying to go veggie. And then I've also had it, there's this venue set just out the downtown called the Moroccan, which is this old lounge that they've kind of redone and turned into a concert venue. And I went there and they had some really good barbecue jackfruit sliders. But the point is that jackfruit's usually used in a savory manner, so it was just very weird seeing it in this dollar can. The family,
that's how you know it's the good jackfruit.
I guess I don't know what that one's going to taste like. I might have to bring that one back to LA and we can all sample it. And then I'm definitely bringing back. Oh God, what was it? I was making fun of it online. Petey's. It was like Petey's Bing. That's not Bang. They have an energy drink that is only sold in a 4-pack at Publix called Petey's Bing. And I was like, all right, well, I'll get that, and we'll put it on ice and have it at the studio later next month.
Perfect. I can't wait.
I'm going to be bringing so many of these fucking things back with me at this point, just because I keep buying them. I'm like, well, I can't drink them because I got to drink them on the show.
Yeah, you can't throw them away.
No. I took a bunch up to Nick Thomas and Narada the last time I recorded with them, and we drank some of those. But the one that I found at Family Dollar, and this was the one that I was really hoping would win, but didn't win. I'm going to maybe just go ahead and, pull the pin on the grenade, so to speak, and do it next week, no matter what y'all think. But it was called Kill Cliff. Two words. I don't know who Cliff is. I don't know if it's Cliff from Cheers, but Kill
like
Cliff.
The Kill Bill porn parody or something.
But that one is called the Cherry Lime Grenade, and then at the top of the can it says Freedom Fuel. So I have no idea how that lost on Twitter. I just thought immediately everyone was going to pick the thing that said Freedom Fuel.
I think we've already talked enough about Rip It and stuff. People are aware how much freedom you can get from these energy drinks.
I guess so. But the one that won, I'm glad this one won because this was my...
I got to be honest. Normally I don't vote in these. This week I voted.
Oh, did you?
I voted for the one who won.
Oh,
yeah,
good.
Because at one point I was a big fan of dollar energy drinks, and this brand was my favorite. So I'll let you unveil what it is.
Yeah. So final results: 100 votes out of 100 votes, 32% goes to Mojave Rattler by Venom Energy.
Venom is perfect. Venom is great. Let me tell you, it's like Monster, but it doesn't have the bite. It basically just tastes like soda.
Okay.
Of all the ones I've had. They get you pretty jacked up too, and it's got a cool name and design on the can. What more could you want for $1? Well, that's what I say.
Man, I gotta say, as far as the design goes, Venom was introduced in 2002, and they are holding so strong to the 2002 aesthetic. Like, this is the most butt rock can I've ever drank out of. Like, it is.
If the No Fear Eyes had a beverage, it would be this.
Yeah, it looks like it would not be out of place in XXX or XXX State of the Union. So let me go ahead and get some Foley here. I'm pouring it into a glass. Oh boy, and the can is purple, and the energy drink itself, once again, piss yellow. Even more piss yellow than the last one, actually. This is upsetting.
That's why they come in the black can, so you can't see any bit of light on the inside. Because if you knew that you were drinking purple yellow, nobody would like that, right? You said, it's not bad. Their Venom's pretty good.
Oh no, I haven't drank it yet. I just smelt it, and it smells very similar to Red Bull. It's got that kind of medicine-y sort of smell to it initially, and that is because, according to the Wikipedia here, Venom contains large doses of taurine and guarana. So I think that must be the kind of signature Red Bull smell, is that those two chemicals.
Yeah. Those are pretty much in every energy drink. I think some people can just flavor it strong enough to cover them up.
Yeah. And this is also very 2002 in that they didn't do much to disguise that flavor. It really does just taste like a budget sugar-free Red Bull, pretty much.
Wow. Everyone I've ever had just tasted like soda, but I've never had the grape one. I will say that.
I don't even think this is supposed to be grape.
Well, it's purple. What the fuck else could it be?
Well, that's what I was thinking. Well, honestly, I was kind of getting a little excited because it was purple and the name is Mojave Rattler. And so I was like, do I dare hope for a prickly pear, cactus fruit flavor? But no, it is just their...
Come on, we're dealing with Venom here. Prickly pear.
Hey, man, there's other flavor, them other energy drink companies, they got cotton candy and shit. It's not that crazy.
Yeah, but that's fucking normal for fake flavoring.
Right. On the Wikipedia here, they've got their flavor types: Black Mamba, which
perfect. R.I.P. Kobe.
It doesn't do anything to say what the flavors are. It just says flavor types and then color, but it's not even accurate because it's just the color of the can. It just says Black Mamba, red; Mojave Rattler, purple; Killer Taipan, yellow.
I remember them just being sugary as hell, but also every energy drink tastes the same. And I haven't had them in probably at this point like 4 years almost.
Man, you're gonna be absolutely overwhelmed by the dazzling spectrum of flavors. And I gotta say, this one falls a bit short, but
bummer.
It's only got 6 grams of sugar in it. That was honestly, that's why I got this one. There were other options there. And by the way, on the can. I shout out to Venom because they do a thing that I like, which is they put the suggested price on the can, so the guy at the bodega can't fucking jack up the price. But they do that with the banner on the front that says "Own it" for 99 cents. I like
that's how you know it's good. They know their demographic.
So I just like the double meaning where it's like, take this home, you can own it, or just own up to it. You're drinking.
Yeah.
Own your mistakes.
You can't own a Venom. Venom is like experience. You can't like own skydiving, It's just something you do.
Man, I'm gonna say it. This is the worst. This is the worst energy drink I've had this whole time.
Fuck that! God damn it! I'm so disappointed in Venom.
I know.
You shouldn't have got the sugar-free one.
Yeah, I know. That was my mistake. I'm seeing here they've got a watermelon lime and a black cherry, kiwi, strawberry apple, citrus. Almost every flavor seems more better than this one.
Yeah, you got sucked into the marketing, which happens often. You did the thing where you bought an album based off the cool album art.
That's true, yeah.
But I get it.
God, what the hell did I drink last week? I can't even fucking remember, but it crashed me. Oh, the Crunk. Last week I did that Crunk, and the Crunk crash is fucking real, dude. Like 6:45 p.m. I'm sitting there, I'm like working, and then like I felt the gas tank go empty. Like I was just like, that's it. I have to go to bed now. And then I just kind of like went and laid down and like listened to a podcast for less than an hour and then just fell asleep for 12 hours.
Yeah, that's been happening to me a lot if I drink too much caffeine during the day. The crash is intense unless you keep it going.
Buddy, yeah. This, by the way, Venom, just so people know, is made by, and I didn't know that they've merged now, Keurig / Dr. Pepper / Snapple / 7-Up company.
Nice. They're making all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
That's just poisoning people and the world.
And apparently Terrell Owens is a spokesman for the brand.
Whoa, that rules.
Yeah.
He's crazy.
It says here,
he came to my job one time and because he also just gives like life coach speeches. Now that he's not a professional athlete anymore, he just comes around and tells people how they can live their life if they try hard enough. And he came to the Bird Scooter's office to give that speech to the fucking like guys who answer the phone about how Bird ripped them off for something, you know.
I love that. The motivational speaking racket is hilarious in general, but you gotta love when it's an athlete coming in. It's like, yeah, due to a random happenstance of nature that I had no control over, I had an amazing body for athletics, and I know y'all don't have.
I tried real hard,
and I worked really hard, and I know you guys don't have the body or the motivation. You are sitting behind a computer, but things could get better if you just weren't such a baby about it.
Yeah, people were babies there. Everybody looked like they wanted to jump off a building, which makes sense. Yeah. But they were also on Terrell Owens' nuts. It was crazy. Yeah. There's like 6 dudes who just followed him around the whole day. I was working in the kitchen, so, I got to offer him a samosa. He said no. And, I'm a big T.O. fan. He played for the Cowboys for a while.
Yeah.
But that was a fun 10-second interaction with a man who's very big.
This can, by the way, Mojave Rattler. When you want the energy to succeed, where only the leanest and meanest survive, you need the penetrating venom of Mojave Rattler.
Dude,
stop
do you
using.
Feel penetrated right now?
Yeah, I feel like this can is just fucking me hard, dude. Take on the world with the ultimate payload. I don't like this language. Penetrate.
I don't like how they're trying to like hype up that getting bit by a snake could be cool.
Take on the world with the ultimate payload of taurine, guarana, ginseng, B vitamins. Take on the world and own it. So
I wonder if they just make pills of all that stuff.
Oh, I'm sure at GNC. I'm sure you can just buy this,
Yeah, I mean, that sounds better than drinking a fucking bunch of gnarly tasting shit, but what do I know? I just drink coffee now. Now that I ran out of pre-workout, it's all coffee for me.
Yeah, this one's 160 mgs of caffeine, so this is not nearly as intense as the Rays, which today is still that's still the line that I will no longer cross. That's the upper limits.
This is like a 2 cup of coffee sort of deal.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So moving on a little bit, last week we covered that story about the teacher who got in the fist fight in the McDonald's parking lot with her students. And I cleared something up. I found out she taught math. She was a math teacher. So that's her subject.
That's shocking.
Yeah, I'm really going back and thinking on all the math teachers I've ever had, and they generally seem to be like the chillest bunch of all of them, I feel like, Yeah,
definitely the people I'd never suspect would get in a fight.
Right. Almost none of them really did anything to help me understand mathematics, but they were at least boring and, chill and old in a lot of cases.
They all wore glasses, and that's not a knock to anybody who wears glasses, but that's not the type of person that fights kids at a McDonald's also. But,
I posed the question to you, and then I decided to pose the question to everybody who follows us on Twitter at The Goods Pod. The question being, what is the maddest you've ever made a teacher or seen a teacher get? And we got back some absolutely fucking tremendous responses, if you want to go through them with me.
That's a great part about public schools, is almost anybody can be a teacher.
Well, that's a perfect tee up to the first one here. At Contrarian, as a teacher myself, all I will say is that every day I don't leave work in handcuffs is a dadgum miracle.
Yeah. As a kid, you're like, yeah, whatever, you're a teacher. But as an adult, you're just like, holy fucking shit. How could you stand to do that for 1 second?
Fucking heroes, man. Absolutely. At Mampers84, this is our buddy Paul who listens in the UK, keeping track of our energy drink stats out there. He says, I do remember in music class, the teacher went into the practice room, leaving the key on the table. That was a mistake since one student locked her in. She was fucking furious. Also in high school, our chemistry teacher went apoplectic when someone was squirting acid.
Whoa, yeah, that's not... I could see why you would get mad about that.
I could see why you'd get mad about both of those things, being imprisoned in your own classroom and then also someone squirting acid. Also, when they said that, I am just picturing the xenomorph from Alien. It's like, sit down!
Of course. What other... You don't want to picture the boring acids. No. You want melting steel kinds.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it's just like, highly diluted hydrochloric acid to test for, calcite or whatever. But no, it's way funnier if it's fucking flesh-eating battery acid or whatever.
Now that I think about it, the angriest that I can recall seeing a teacher, it was a band teacher who just would occasionally just have an outburst of just getting really fucking serious with the kids for like a minute, and then it would just carry over through the rest of the class,
What did you play in band? I didn't know you were in band.
Oh, I was in orchestra at first. I played the stand-up bass, and then I could be in jazz band because of that.
Holy shit, dude. I had no idea. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, give me a stand-up bass, and I'll play it at a 6th grade level.
You play with the bow and everything?
Yeah,
nice.
The bow sucks, though.
Yeah.
The bow's for geeks.
You play slap bass, you play in Good Times and shit.
Yeah, of course.
At Tubbs McGruff. So I had a lame geometry teacher, and I used to fuck with him in little ways, but the maddest I ever seen him get was at my friend in the class who was strung out in there half the time. One day, the guy tried to relate to the class and tell us something personal about him. He sat down and tried to tell us about how when he was a kid, his dad left his family, and he was getting really earnest. And then my friend looked at him and said, "Oh God, that's terrible. He left? Where did he go?" The teacher got so mad, and this is creepy as shit. The teacher got so mad, he didn't even yell. He just whispered, "Get out. Get out," multiple times until he left and my friend was transferred out of the class.
Whoa, damn. He broke that teacher's soul.
That's a level of pissed. I don't think I've ever gotten that mad, to where you go past yelling and you're just, get out.
Yeah. I mean, it's because you don't have like a weird anger problem / mental disorder that causes people to do that.
That's it's such like Walter White fucking shit. Just, I'm the one who knocks. Like, it's not normal.
Yeah, not at all.
At Piccolope says, 8th grade, a science teacher had us dip our hands in soapy methane and light our hand on fire. It's supposed to be harmless, but I freaked out because I was a child and on fire, and I shook my hand, sending flaming bubbles all across the classroom.
There's so many things wrong with this.
That's the craziest shit. Because, all right, do you remember this?
Where did this happen? What fucking... This was not in America, was it? This is Lawsuit City.
I don't know.
I mean, this sounds like something that would happen in some... I don't know. I don't even fucking know.
It's just such a stark image, especially the flaming bubbles. That's just some shit I've never seen before.
Kids, we're gonna learn today by doing some good old fashioned self-harm.
Dude, what this reminds
like the teacher, we were talking about teachers who hate their class earlier. It's like, that's the thing a teacher does to get back at their students. Like, all right, we're lighting yourselves on fire today. It's technically not my fault. You're doing it.
I was wondering, do you remember, I mean, I'm sure it existed before this, but do you remember when hand sanitizer became like a thing that parents started clipping to their kids' backpacks, like in 7th or 8th grade? And there were those kids who would fucking like pour it in their hand and light their hand on fire for a second.
In my school, the Axe body spray was more popular for starting fires, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I remember being in gym with this kid who was Still one of the stupidest things ever. He fucking lit his shoes on fire. I guess to like emulate NBA Jam or something. Like he was like running around the gym. He'd put a bunch of hand sanitizer on his new like sneakers and was like, check it out. And then they remained on fire and he had to like peel them off his foot and like hurl them before they like seared his flesh and shit like that. But they burned a bunch of hair off his legs and shit. Fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Shoes are not meant to be on fire.
No, but I also just love that in this story, it's a teacher who's like, dude, we're going to do some cool shit. We're going to light your hands on fire with methane.
Yeah, that's so insane.
That
is literally child abuse. And he's getting paid for it.
Well, he was getting paid for it. Listen to the last sentence of this tweet. He was later fired for drinking in the parking lot at lunch. So I take it back.
This teacher rules.
This guy rules. Setting his kids on fire and then drinking in the parking lot.
Setting kids on fire is a little bit stressful. Sometimes you need to go relax in the parking lot.
One assumes
every science teacher I had was kind of crazy, so that makes sense.
Oh yeah, dude. Science teachers love fire. They give them that damn Bunsen burner. Like they just love that shit. So it kind of makes sense with the science teacher. Although it is fun to imagine that after he was fired, he certainly smashed his little pint bottle of Jose Cuervo or whatever and rode a motorcycle into the sunset because that's the only way that can end.
Yeah, that guy probably got fired and was like, cool.
Cool. More time for me to drink and turn WD-40 cans into flamethrowers. My favorite thing.
Yeah. I'm really going to turn into an arsonist now.
At Anathema Germina, in 6th grade, our social studies teacher was a notorious, bitter, angry old man. He usually would just scream at students if they didn't bring a red pen to class. But he also once hurled a metal desk at a kid for not knowing the answer to some question about Babylon.
Whoa, that's crazy. I guess that was religious school.
Maybe they're talking ancient Mesopotamia, first couple chapters of world history there, perhaps.
That's insane, no matter what. That's one of those things where it's just like, dude, just start lighting the kids on fire. You'll have a better time.
Yeah. The answer to all of these is like, yeah, it would have been better if you had just lit the kids on fire with soapy methane.
Yeah, I mean, as a teacher, how could you, if you know that's an option, why would you not do that? Is all I'm saying. To the guy who said he was a teacher, consider it,
At TJ_Arnie, we made our teacher cry. Our class was about 12 to 13 students and none of us wanted to do German, so we ended up being little shits. Me and my cousin used to have competitions for who could fit the most pins in our afros. And then we would have pencil chucking wars. Someone would throw a pound on the floor and yell, "Scramble!" And all the guys would scramble to get it. This is from the UK, by the way. So we'd throw money on the floor. Someone did that with a $5 once. Paper airplane engineering, getting paper stuck in the teacher's hair without her noticing, parentheses, I won. We were so bad that she apparently gave up on teaching and moved to the States with her rich husband, and we had to do our 3rd year of German with all substitute teachers. Also, we were the quote-unquote top set of our year, and we had placed the best with our beginning school test, yet we were hellions. So this is like a foreign language class. So it's like, and they tested well too. So theoretically this should be a pretty good class and they're just throwing shit at her hair.
Man, that rules. I mean, you don't take a foreign language class to learn anything as a kid. No kid is like, this will be useful to me later. You're just like, God damn it, they're making me do this.
This was so funny because as I was reading this, I was like, dude, my German class, and I think I mentioned this on the show before, but like my German class had martial law declared. Like the vice principal had to come sit in our German class every single day because our teacher she lost control. We had an unspoken vote of no confidence and we just quit listening to her. And so Miss Hoseman had to come in there and sit in the back and just fucking watch us the whole time. But then every once in a while, Miss Hoseman would get called away because she was the vice principal and she had other shit to do. And then at that point, it was just a feeding frenzy of just us fucking with the teacher. It's just, and then cut to like, I don't know, 6 years later, I'm a substitute teacher at a different school, and I walk in, and my old German teacher is just in the office getting coffee. I'm like, oh, hi, Frau. What's up?
Dude, that's so funny.
I have on a fucking tie.
Is it like, I assume it's like Texas where all you need to be a substitute teacher is like a bachelor's degree in anything?
I don't even know if it's that, dude. They hire the substitutes through Kelly Services, which is like 1960s, like how they would hire out typists and stuff. They would call them Kelly girls because it was almost all female, and that's how you would hire. Like if your secretary was out for the day and you're Don Draper, you would call Kelly, and they would send a Kelly girl. So I'm actually a former Kelly girl because that's Kelly Services is who they run it through. And I don't think all you have to do is pass a background check and they fingerprint you, and that's it. And they're like, all right, well, you didn't commit any fucking heinous crimes, so I guess you can be in front of kids. So,
dude, yeah, in Austin they would just let anybody, if you had like a college degree, you could do it. Mm-hmm. And like literally there's like no sort of, I mean, I'm sure they had a background check, but there was no sort of like screening, it seemed like. I knew a dude who did heroin that was a substitute teacher.
Yeah.
And I remember in 6th grade, one time the substitute teacher came in and he was like so obviously like on drugs or hungover. He closed all the like curtains and the windows so there'd be no light in the room. And
that
he
rules.
did some magic tricks for us. It was fun.
Wait, with the lights off?
Yeah.
That's so good. At It's MLP, I showed my U.S. government teacher that collective punishment, i.e. punishing the whole class for something a few of us had done, was in fact against the Geneva Convention and constituted a war crime. He screamed for a full hour about how we would, quote, never understand war because Bill Clinton had made it impossible to teach young men the important life lessons taught in Vietnam.
Wow, that's insane.
But sometimes we would watch Toonces the Cat Who Could Drive a Car. So that's like that sketch from SNL. So that's funny.
Oh, I remember. That's a classic sketch.
I have to assume, since he's referencing Bill Clinton, that this happened in the 90s, which means this man came into class with a VHS of Toonces the Driving Cat. That's cool.
He knows what kids like, and it's wacky sketches.
He says, wild semester, unrelated, but he also once bet me that I would be more likely to die in a global pandemic before I would in state violence in the United States. So this has been a real nail biter of a year in terms of who's going to get $5.
Yeah, I mean, fuck. It sucks that sometimes these guys are right, you know?
Yeah, Jesus. At Math Demigod, who is also who is a math teacher, and also told me, I think we're gonna actually get him on the show once I get back to LA because I want to talk to him about this. He told me that he also is in charge of the LARPing club at his school, so he gets to beat the shit out of his kids with foam swords. Mm-hmm. So I think that's pretty fun. But he says the angriest I ever got was when I was a student teacher. And after about an hour of not being able to speak more than 3 words without being interrupted by students, I burst out, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
They don't give a fuck. They're at state-sanctioned babysitting. They'd rather do anything else.
He says that was a long time ago, and I don't get mad anymore. So that's cool. I think you learn about that shit quick, man. Like I said, I was a substitute for a year, and you pretty much start understanding why teachers are the way they are because you're like, this is war. This is a mental war I'm having versus 25 very small humans. Where
it's like a wild animal. If you show weakness, they're going to take advantage of it.
100%. At Seeking Paradigm says, well, a teacher once quit because the other staff wouldn't stop the bullying that I was experiencing. So that's fucking cool. You know, like this person was getting bullied and then this teacher, they wouldn't do anything about it. So he basically like resigned in protest. That part is cool. The next part is fucking crazy. This same teacher once body slammed a student through a folding table because the kid put black pepper in his Dr. Pepper.
Whoa. Yeah. And now that I think about it, I've seen a guy like grab a kid by like around the shirt.
Yeah, scruff of the neck kind of thing, like pick him up and shit.
Well, he put we used to do this thing where you just take a staple, wrap it around the end of a pencil, and you could just kind of fling it.
Oh yeah. I love doing that.
He did that at the teacher, and it hit him like in the face. And the teacher was like so mad that it could have hit him in the eye that he went over and like kind of,
grabbed him up, shook the shit out of him.
Yeah. And this was a sub too. He's one of the cooler subs, but definitely.
This is wild. He says the table snapped and everything. So like he straight up the Dudley boys him through a table.
Damn, that's tight.
And then also he says, and he also tried to stab a kid in the eye with an eyeliner thingy brush.
Wow, this guy is he was drinking in the parking lot for sure.
And I, of course, replied because I had so many questions. And I was like, wait, he quit because people wouldn't take it seriously that others were bullying you? And also, what happened after the table spot? And why did he go after the kid with the eyeliner brush? And at Seeking Paradigm writes back, it was a mix of things that went south for him, but it was the principal who liked slapping boys on the ass who told him, quote, protecting one kid wasn't worth it. He was suspended for the table spot and attempted eye stabbing. The kid who put the pepper in the drink kept farting or something.
It's bad when you keep farting. That must mean the teacher fucked up his stomach, landed on him hard,
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's when he says he body slammed him onto the table, I assume he means he like threw him down onto the table kind of thing, but it is way funnier to imagine like an actual Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, like body slam shit.
Yeah.
Or,
just even like a real like amateur wrestling slam where you just fucking end up on top of them on purpose because you're trying to hurt them as bad as possible.
Yeah, you give them like the Arn Anderson spine buster shit.
Yeah, exactly. But even Arn Anderson knows to not fucking follow through.
Right.
That's why I say, professional wrestlers are good enough to do that and not make their opponent fart continuously throughout the match. I'm pretty sure.
Teacher, you broke my guts. When you gave me that jackknife power bomb through the
table. I'm sure somebody wrestling has shit their pants in the ring before, probably many times.
Oh, yeah. CM Punk on record. I believe Stone Cold on record. Yeah, all the greats.
Part of the business.
Yeah. This is the last one here. This is from our friend at JM Janks. And he actually says, I had to go to the notes app for this one. My high school art teacher already had some PTSD from kids locking her in the art closet the year before. So again, this is a thing. This is a fucking thing. Locking her.
They shouldn't keep so many doors locked at school, I think, is what we're really learning here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Let's make all the doors screen doors, please, in the art room in case
also,
I need
to. Never heard of a closet that locks from the inside also.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me.
It just seems like a terrible idea.
Yeah.
So they locked her in the art closet the year before. So she had a hairpin trigger about everything. Her number one rule was absolutely nobody was to bring drinks in her class, which of course we all did anyway. We just tried to keep them hidden. There was one kid, though, who openly flaunted it and was told multiple times to quit, but he did anyway. One day, during a lecture, he pulled out his Coke, and mid-drink, she absolutely lost it. She grabs the bottle and yells, "I'm tired of it!" and throws it as hard as she can against the back wall. The bottle was still open, so Coke went absolutely everywhere. We were all so shocked, and I think she was too. It was absolute silence until the kid said, Are you going to pay for that? The class lost it. Still probably the best comedic timing I've ever experienced. She grabbed his arm and dragged him to the principal's office. He never came back to the class for the rest of the year during that school period. He spent it with the vice principal doing shit around the school. What an absolute legend he was.
Yeah, that rules. He was so cool that he didn't have to go to that class anymore.
Dude, that's, first of all, hilarious. Fucking hilarious that this kid is being dragged around by the vice principal everywhere. Just doing things like you were so bad that you are now the vice principal's little helper boy. But also I'm reminded that not exactly, but I just did not get along with a pre-algebra teacher I had. That's how shitty I am at math. Is in high school I was still doing 8th grade level algebra. I hear that. Dude, I did not get along with this woman so much that they just moved me out of her class and into the principal's office every day, where they just sent my work, and I got so much more shit done after I didn't have to listen to this woman. And when I was just, it was just papers coming over the transom, like, all right, do this one, figure this out. It was so much easier to learn.
It's so crazy how that works. There's like a high school in Austin that was for quote unquote the fuck ups or bad kids or whatever.
Alternative school.
Self-paced. Yeah, exactly. Alternative learning.
Yep. And, all the quote unquote bad students would go there and finish high school in 3 months, like guaranteed. And they wouldn't even be seniors. It's just the amount of work you could do, and you didn't have to go through the whole state sanctioned babysitting part. Oh yeah.
If you just sit there and learn all day, you can get through high school fast as fuck.
Dude, that's the thing, man. If you go to ISS, that kind of like strips away the kayfabe of school a little bit, because you're like, oh, there's only 4 hours worth of work here. Why am I here for 8?
Yeah, it's fucking dog shit.
So anyway, those were fun as hell to read. If people listening have more, please send them in. I could fucking read that shit all day. Narado sent in one that I was like, buddy, we're gonna have to just hear the whole story next time I come up to Birmingham, do our park pod, because Narado had one that was extra fucking funny. So I want the full details on that one. But anyway, yeah, send those in at the Goods Pod. But anyway, what you been up to this week, man? Anything fun?
I ate Wong's Walk last night, which for anybody who doesn't know, which is everybody, it's just Panda Express but better.
Yeah,
homemade Panda Express.
Homemade Panda Express.
Cheap. The best thing, it's cheap.
Well, the best thing is they hook it up to a degree where I'm not sure how they make money. Or I'm just like, damn, are you sure you want to give me this much food? Because I only paid $7 just now.
Yeah, definitely. It rules.
Hell
so
yeah.
I ate some of that. Did a podcast. Been playing Fortnite a lot. Just the normal stuff that you do around this apartment.
How's Shermed Out going? What did y'all talk about this week?
Oh, we talked about how Cooper got so angry one time he punched himself in the face and knocked out his own fake tooth.
Oh no.
What else did we talk about? Just a ton of shit. It was a good podcast, I would say. We're going to start releasing it on Fridays.
Nice.
I think we decided, because no podcasts do that. Yeah. There's still people who want to listen to podcasts on the weekend, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's perfect.
So we're going to start doing that. I don't know. We don't really have a subject matter. We just kind of sit there and talk. Cooper talks about his sad, pathetic life, and I sit there and try to convince him it's not that bad. Cooper, what are you listening to right now? He can't even hear me. He's 4 feet away from me. He has earbuds in. Hey, Cooper, you're a dumb piece of oh, he heard me now. Now all of a sudden he can hear me. Yeah, I was talking about you, Cooper. Hey, Cooper, off the top of your head, do you have any stories you can tell about a teacher getting extremely mad at the class or you or your friends? He says no.
No.
Well, Cooper, you're useless as always. Check out Shermed Out Podcast, shermedoutpod.com, or not Shermed Out Pod at Twitter, not .com. We don't even fucking have a website, of course. There's a link. There's a Linktree link, though. You can listen to it on several different platforms.
Nice.
And everybody loves that.
Hell yeah. Oh, I forgot. I got one more story for you. This one is from Jacksonville, Florida. A bank robbery was reported about noon at the Regions Bank branch near Laura Street in Jacksonville. Police say a woman in a motorized wheelchair showed up to discuss an account, but she got in an argument with the teller that escalated when she threatened to kill everyone in the bank and announced that she was now robbing the place.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that.
The woman left the bank after she was given some cash, and then she was taken into custody nearby in the motorized wheelchair. No weapon was seen during the robbery, according to police, and no one inside the bank was hurt. So she tried to make the getaway in the little motorized cart.
That's one of those, you get so angry in the moment, you don't think about what's going to happen 5 minutes from now.
I was about to say, she should be a teacher.
Yeah.
The kids are making noise and she just pulls out a fucking gun and is like, all right, this is now a robbery.
Right, yeah.
Give me all your lunch money.
Because of Jeffrey, everybody's dying.
Oh, God. Well, shit, man. This has been fun. Sam, please tell people where they can find you on the internet.
Slam Harder on Twitter, Shermed Out Pod on Twitter. Yeah, those are the best places to find me on the internet.
Yeah. Well, this is fun, man. We'll do it again next week.
Yeah, for sure. Check out my podcast with Cooper, everybody.
Do it.
It's like this podcast, but dark.
And Cooper gets mad.
Yeah, Cooper will punch himself in the face and knock out his own teeth, and we talk about it.
Oh, Christ. All right. Talk to you later, man.
Later, dude.
Calling in now from Houston, Texas, it's our friend from the Psychic Dolphin Garage, Kelton. What's going on, my man?
Hey, not a whole lot. I'm in the process right now of trying to check out like an energy drink.
Yeah.
I've picked out something for me, but I'm not sure whether or not I'm going to die because I normally just avoid energy drinks. And for this recording's time, I thought I want something, but no name brand. I want something that's like on like a discarded shelf somewhere.
That's what I was trying to do with today's. I got all back of the shelf, dusty as possible. If we can get some rat shit on the tab, that's what I want.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, because this one here, its brand name is 3D. So already off to
is this the Dudley Boys?
Start.
Is it? Yeah. It'll put you. Devon, get the tables.
The flavor is called Candy Punch. Not even fruit punch, not cotton candy. So
that thing we all make, candy punch, where you make punch and pour a bunch of candy in it. Normal.
That sounds like a frat that's about to roofie a whole bunch of people. Like, oh no, they drank the candy punch. Fuck,
dude. Somebody sent me a thing today where there was a flavor called cognitive candy. And I was like, ooh, that's no bueno. But also, if my grandfather was still with us, that might help with his dementia.
Yeah. Is that the Jordan Peterson brand of energy drinks? Is that what's going to happen? Find the energy you need to clean your room.
Yeah. That's how he's going to get it back, man. So what? It's Candy Punch 3D. I think I heard a tab pop. Did you?
Yeah. I'm not so good with it as you to get that ASMR quality.
Well, no, this is interesting being on the other end of this, I gotta say.
Listen, I'm sorry, okay? I didn't know quite what was going to be in store for me. I was trying to brace for all possible scenarios.
Sure.
Yeah. That's also would be incredibly commendable if on each of the recording occasions you then opened a new energy drink of the same brand. Like, I need 3 of this, 4 of this. Just keep. keep it going.
I mean, we kind of did that with Bang and Rip It. We had a bit of a residency with those two brands, but mainly just because, if somebody can, cue me up to another, energy brand CEO that's insane, that's all I want to talk about. But so far, yeah, it's just the rock star guy was Michael Savage's son. So that's pretty much the most interesting thing. And now he's a billionaire because Pepsi, gave him all that money. So cool.
Of course.
We're giving lots of money to the right people,
That's the important thing, and eventually it'll trickle down to us.
Yeah,
I mean, like that's what they say in all of those Raise Rebellion energy drink Facebook groups for only the official ambassadors that I may or may not have been inspired to try and wiggle my way into as a result. So, have you ever wondered what rising grind culture would look like if also it was run by hype beasts? Yeah, that's that's Raise Rebellion.
Oh, that's awful. It's just just the people you'd never want to talk to at open mics, basically running a company.
Yeah, one of the group rules is you cannot talk bad about Raise or their new flavors. Which is,
can I talk about how it really, I thought I might not live through the night the one time I drank Raise because it elevated my heart rate to a point where I was like, this is not good. This is no bueno. I don't like this. I found the edge. I found what alcoholics call a moment of clarity, where I was like, all right, 300 milligrams of caffeine that's the edge.
Yeah, and I wish I could say something positive about this thing that I got, but no, nothing here.
Yeah.
It is just candy punch. It's just like a Jolly Rancher rolled in salt is kind of what it is. So not enjoyable.
I mean, one of the things I guess I haven't really talked about with the whole energy drink thing is that it's interesting how infantilized all of the flavors have become. Because I remember when Red Bull came out, the whole thing was, it's gross. It's fucking gross. And if you want the desired effect, you got to deal with the fact that it tastes like shit. The first energy drink I got, actually, I remember exactly where I was. Tiger 95.9, 104.9. New Rock had their truck, and they were sponsoring some energy drink that's not around anymore that I believe was called KMX or something like that. It was 3 letters that started with K, and it's an energy drink, so I'm assuming it was an X in there somewhere.
Of course.
But they were giving those out, and they were also giving away CDs, like promo CDs. And I remember I was pissed because my friend got chocolate starfish and the hot dog flavored water for free, and I was stuck with Kid A by Radiohead. And you know what?
Well,
I still stand by that.
I was gonna say history has aged in your favor, at least. So
well, that's
that
not for me. I don't find Radiohead interesting at all. I find Limp Bizkit deeply fascinating. Neither of them are good, but only one of them piques my interest in any way. The other one's like, oh, you're a bunch of college kids from Oxford and you moan. All right, cool.
Well, let's see Radiohead develop one of the greatest thriller movies of 2020, huh?
Yeah.
Let's have that happen.
Yeah, when Tom York directs The Fanatic, I'll be on board. Writes and directs, actually. My God.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/thegoodspot. We talked about The Fanatic. It's an insane film. I think it's still on Amazon. It's worth a watch. It really is. Well, I guess I wanted to start today, in the most obvious thing, which is, you're calling in from Texas. How the hell are you? What's the situation on the ground right now?
I'm mostly thawed out, I think is probably the best way to phrase it. Because over here, it has been very interesting to see just how fast everything has returned to normal. It's truly like almost having like an abusive stepfather in the sense of where like everything's awful. Then a few hours later, they're very calm around the friends and family. Like, what the fuck is going on here? It's not a
dad shot a hole in the wall at Thanksgiving and everyone's just ignoring it. They're like, okay, well,
exactly.
He had his little episode. Jeez.
That's what we call it, right? A little episode to go on. But thankfully, I guess I was paying the normal rate for electricity instead of being the wholesalers who were getting absolutely fucked over, getting like $10,000 electric bill charges.
That shit has been absolutely fucking wild. You know, I mean, ask anybody who's gotten a $30,000 bill to have a baby at a hospital. Like, it's, you know, it's pretty much across the board. That's how we roll here in this country, unfortunately. But it has just been insane to see, like, yeah, they gave me a $7,000 bill, and you're like, what the fuck? Why? So Houston's a little bit further south, so it hopefully didn't get. I think Dallas and Fort Worth got the worst of it. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, it really became very quickly in true Texas fashion, a pissing contest between Dallas, Houston, Austin, and San Antonio about who really had it worst. You know, like whose crumbling infrastructure failed the residents the most became just a real topic of conversation that we would have as we huddle around the one weird right-wing survivalist guy who has a generator. You're like, yeah, no, sure, I guess whatever. Pelosi is a lizard person. That's fine. I'm just trying to like heat up a hot dog right now, Gary. Fuck you.
Right. Sure. Well, I wanted to share this with you because I read this story today, and, you know, because I think everybody's kind of talked about the Texas grid being independent from the federal grid, and that just literally because they're like, fuck y'all. Like, it is genuinely, I've read as much as I can about it, and from that is the most simple thing I could tell is like, at some point the federal government was like, hey, if you want to join our grid, you can, but you have to weatherize all of your power lines and substations and stuff, and they just were like, eat shit, fuck you. And here we are.
My favorite part about this is that at the time the decision was made, Rick Perry was the Department of Energy. And for people wondering, Rick Perry is a former governor of Texas. So the current governor of Texas told the former governor of Texas, both Republicans, of course, to go fuck himself.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's amazing because going back and finding out, like, don't want those Washington fat cats out there who are so out of touch. It's like, you mean the guy who's been in office for like 3 weeks? That guy, that outsider?
Well, yeah, and the one who was previously, God, how long was he the governor? He was 8 years, right?
I feels like a century, but at least 8.
Yeah, 8 years, several interesting scandals. If you don't know, just Google Rick Perry's ranch name, for instance. So very interesting guy.
It is great because once you figure out like where he vacationed, the Kennedys, they went out on lakes. Rick Perry, he went to this ranch in particular, and so weird that he's only that level of monster, not something else, something far, far worse.
Yeah, I remember talking right at the beginning of 2017. It might have been our first show after Trump got in office. We talked to Trey Crowder, who people might know as the liberal redneck, and he used to work for the Department of Energy, and brought up the point that like he was like, yeah, the last guy who ran the Department of Energy had like a Nobel Prize in physics, I think, and then it was Rick Perry. Like, it was something crazy like that. We're just like, you just can't even believe it, you know. But so I mean, you know, the situation down there, I think most people are aware of. But this I just read. This is from the Daily Beast. So there is a company down there based out of Fort Worth called Bell Helicopters, and they produce military helicopters and civilian helicopters and stuff like that. And so they sent out the following email just at the beginning of the week. Employees who are unable to fully dedicate their time and attention to company business due to current conditions should use available paid time off, vacation, or holiday flex time if they wish to be paid today. Otherwise, employees who do not have any remaining paid time off, vacation, or holiday flex time and do not wish to use their paid time off will not be paid today. So that's how they're rolling. It's like, oh, you couldn't get to work because everything in your state is fucked and you had to stay in your home. Well, you're not getting paid for that day. We're not canceling work.
I mean, to be fair, they all travel by helicopter, though, so the roads don't affect them that much.
That's a good point. Yeah, I didn't even consider that. Yeah, if every employee had a helicopter and stayed home, I'd be like, all right, guys, look, we tried to make this pretty easy for you, but you just didn't listen. But if that's the case, then I apologize. Mea culpa to Bell Helicopters. But unfortunately, I don't think everybody has a helicopter. The anonymous worker who reported this told the Daily Beast that Bell facilities were closed the entire week, that at one point they were unable to access the virtual private network that allows them to access company systems. So their whole network went down and you physically couldn't get there. And they're still like, we're not paying you. Fuck you.
You still have to punch in.
Yeah, somehow,
That's
even
just
though
the way the rules work.
The internet doesn't exist, the roads are inaccessible, but you still have to come to work somehow. You have to astral project into work, meet your boss on the astral plane, and then communicate psychically that you are, in fact, do wish to build helicopters for the military. And by the way, the other company that did this, it's so weird that it's because for people who don't know, Bell Helicopters, they are the makers of maybe one of the most notorious aircrafts in United States military history, which is the V-22 Osprey, which this is the times I see the Osprey in Los Angeles was during the Obama administration. They fly the Ospreys in front of Air Force One, and you hear those things coming in. And so that was how we always knew Obama was coming into town to go, beg Steven Spielberg for money. Was you would hear those fucking things just whoop, 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 and I'd see them and I'd be like, all right, Air Force One is right behind it, and it always would be. And of course, for the last 4 years, not many friends in LA, unfortunately for old DT, but that's where I always see him. But there is actually a whole extremely long Wikipedia article titled "Accidents and Incidents Involving the V-22 Osprey." And if you don't know, it's like a half helicopter, half plane that can take off vertically. So the propellers are facing upwards when it wants to take off, and then as soon as it reaches an altitude, they turn sideways, and it kind of becomes a prop plane.
Oh, Jesus.
And and so this one aircraft has, at this point, as of this recording, killed about 90 people. So maybe not going into work one day is fine. I'm
just trying to get the number. Does that make it more or less deadly than like the Taliban at this point?
Yeah, exactly. I just love it. It's like, hey, come in here and build our whirly-bird death machines, you dipshits. Yeah, well, I don't care. Get one of them tread Hummers from Inception and come into work. The other people who did this same shit was BAE Systems. Also sent a similar email. BAE Systems is a British multinational arms security and aerospace company and is Europe's largest defense contractor. So basically, if the oil industry had sent out, similar emails, that would be a tic-tac-toe for the biggest assholes in Texas.
Oh, most certainly. I mean, that and the Austin taco truck scene, I think.
Yeah, the taco truck cartel.
Famous Big Four, as it relates down here.
Yeah, but I just saw that. I was like, that is fucking incredible.
Point is that if we have to release a statement saying that you didn't show up to work, that looks bad on our shareholders. And by God, it sucks bad enough that GameStop is worth more than us. We refuse to let it dip down anymore, you sons of bitches.
Dude, I checked on that just for funsies the other day. It's still sitting at like $40. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's crazy.
It is amazing because people are talking about like, oh well, the boom is over. It certainly is.
Sure.
Don't want anyone to think like now is the time. But for the one guy who bought so many shares when they were worth like $3, and then cashed out, still has a whole bunch left. Like, yeah, that's a pretty nice little nest egg that he set up for himself. So, kudos to whatever his name is, like XD Roaring Kitty or whatever.
Yeah,
congratulations.
Exactly. Yeah, hey, shit. If I ever get in a Back to the Future situation, I'm not going to need the sports almanac. I know exactly where to go. Thanksgiving, 2020, baby. Put it all on GameStonk. But
trying to think of like all the people who might have died instead.
Yeah. I could have stopped. I could have gone to Wuhan or whatever and stopped people from eating pangolins or whatever the fuck they were doing. But no, I need to get me that meme stonk, dog. I was so upset when that came out because everybody was like, oh, it might have started because people were eating bats. And I'm like, well, that's gross, but, bats are scary. And then it came out, it might have been because they were eating pangolins. And those things are those things are adorable. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's the thing that always fascinates me the most with like wet markets overseas, just in general, like where you can get more exotic animals and stuff, just the potential for the next big virus to come out. Like, what ridiculous fucking animal is going to get eaten next that we don't even think about? Like, we don't even like, I don't know what they were doing there. They were just like boiling some endangered species.
Yeah. Yeah, and the pangolin too. It's just like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna eat this thing that looks like if an artichoke fucked a porcupine. That looks delicious. It's like, no, it looks cute. Just put it in a zoo or leave it alone. It's fine. They're fine.
That's what we want. Meanwhile, I'm gonna try and create a new virus with like a black rhino Alfredo. That's gonna be my style. Just something really spice it up.
The other story I have here to talk about with you, Kelton, it was funny because you sent me this, but also seemingly everyone who's ever listened to the show sent me this because we've been talking about how the only thing more deadly than the V-22 Osprey helicopter / airplane is gender reveal parties.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
The last
silent killer.
Well, not really that silent because it keeps, explosions at them, keep killing people. The last one I thought was the most ridiculous where I was like, oh, okay, well, it's going to be hard to top a cannon exploding on somebody. And unfortunately, they've actually, I don't know. I think maybe the cannon is still slightly crazier just because it's such an archaic weapon that you maybe don't expect it. A bomb is a little more current. But when I was writing this, I was reminded, of course, in 1970, members of the Weather Underground in Greenwich Village were building bombs to be delivered to like the Pentagon and shit, and they accidentally blew themselves up. And it was interesting to contrast that, where it's like, okay, these, whether or not you agree with violence as being a political solution at all, at least they believed in something. This guy blew himself up for the likes.
He really was going for something, truly special. And I'm sure it's going to be a wonderful story to explain why mommy is by herself right now. Okay. So I'll read the story. So this is from Liberty, New York, which couldn't be a more perfectly named town. It's like, I have the right to kill myself in the dumbest way possible. It's right next to Come and Take Itsville, New Hampshire. Right?
Yeah. My cold, dead hands, Connecticut. So a Sullivan County man has died after a device he was building for his child's gender reveal party exploded, according to police. Christopher Peckney, 28, was assembling the device in the town of Liberty when it exploded just before noon on Sunday. Police say the blast killed Peckney and injured his 27-year-old brother, Michael Peckney, who was taken to the hospital. Police have not specified... This is the best. Police have not specified what device caused Sunday's explosion, but a spokesman for state police told the New York Times that the device consisted of some kind of pipe. It's like, oh, so was it a pipe bomb, or you just don't want to circle that square for us?
It's definitely that. I remember when these things were first starting out. A buddy of mine, he designs T-shirts. And I begged him to make a gender reveal pipe bomb T-shirt. It was two pipes intersecting and then X and one pink, one blue. It was beautiful. It was amazing.
Yeah, there was some earlier story that we read back in the summer when they started the huge wildfire in San Bernardino County with one of these stupid fucking things where it was like a pipe bomb exploded and killed grandma a few years ago. And I was just like, well, stop doing this.
You see, Batman, I will reveal the gender of a child every 30 minutes until $5 million is wired into my account.
I know it sucks to get a funnel and put pink glitter into a balloon. I know that's hard, but you don't die when the balloon pops.
It really is just like a water balloon with glitter, even. Like, that might be, oh, wow, no one died from that.
Right. Like, I've seen the ones where, there's ones where, people do that. Like, they fill it like either a balloon or a water balloon, and then they get their wife to shoot at it or something, which is like kind of white trashy, but she's not going to die from shooting a rifle. It's when you get into, it's like, oh, what do you do? It's like, well, I work in an office, but I read some stuff. I read the Anarchist Cookbook, and I think I might be able to make a pipe bomb that tells the gender of my child. So
all these Dale cosplayers are ruining the Hank Hill fandom.
That's the other thing. You live in Texas. I'm from Alabama. Don't you know a guy? Because I know a guy. I wouldn't attempt this shit if I was very serious about fucking building a bomb. We all have a Dale Gribble in our lives who would probably do it for fun.
I don't want to reveal too much about my troubled teenage past, but there's a town probably about half an hour from me called Cut and Shoot, Texas, which is where I learned to make napalm, because I grew up around one of those people who became that guy somewhere. So he was either going to work for the CIA or like own a tractor trailer supply company business. No in between for him.
That might be an interesting thing. Yeah, tweet at us at the Goods Pod and tweet at Sex Confetti too, just to rope Kelton into this. Do y'all know a guy? I want to know. I think I can't
tag the guy. We dare you.
No, you don't have to tag the guy. Just let us know. Like, I know a guy who could probably build this for me. I can, If you don't know that guy, then spice up your life, brothers and sisters. That's all I got to say. Spice up your life. But so they mentioned that a pipe was involved, and according to New York State Trooper Stephen Neville, the prop under construction wasn't even going to be the final product used for the gender reveal. It was just a prototype.
Yeah, that's right. Building a prototype.
I want to get good at this shit. I want to get really good at this.
I'm almost willing to bet that both of the guy who died and his brother were probably on drugs, probably uppers. And they were like, no, you don't get it. We can make a whole company about this, man. Like, we can sell these to people, okay? Like, just give me the prototype. I'll show it to other people. It'll blow their fucking mind. It'll be amazing.
Speaking to the newspaper, Peckney's oldest brother, Peter Peckney, don't do this to your children. Peter Peckney Jr. It's like, dude, you knew what it was like to be Peter Peckney. Why are you making your next one Peter Piper Peckney Pickle Peppers? Like, fucking don't do that. But his oldest brother, Peter Peckney Jr., described what happened as, quote, the freakiest of freak accidents that I could ever imagine.
That is 100% a quote from someone on drugs. Like, the police show up. Just freaky. That's what I call it. The tragic loss of life.
Totally freaky, man. All we was doing was putting saltpeter and gunpowder into a pipe and putting a fuse in there, and then it exploded. It was crazy. It shouldn't have happened like that, man.
That sounds like the plot of like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are going up against an evil councilman. And this is the only way to get rid of it. Like,
you put a pizza in the oven and the cheese melted, and you're like, wow, man, this is the freakiest accident ever. Nah, man, that was gonna happen. So I included this just because people know this because we've been talking about it, but it's always funny to read these like wrap-up sentences in these articles and just realize that like this is reality. This is the last sentence of the article. This death is the latest in a string of catastrophes to be linked to gender reveal parties in the United States in recent years. A string of catastrophes for the dumbest thing.
Listen, I know I was just making fun of the one guy for downplaying it, but like, let's also not call it catastrophes, okay?
Well,
like there was the one fire. One fire.
I think there were three actually total, because there was the huge one last summer in San Bernardino, but then there was also one in Florida Florida that we talked about, and then there was also one in Arizona, I think. Like,
okay, fine. I didn't realize that the hat trick had been accomplished. Carry on. It's a catastrophe.
Like the Florida one, it's like, okay, whatever. It rains every 2 seconds. Who gives a shit? But like Arizona and California, it's like, we don't need fires there, please.
Yeah. I would think like power ranking wise that a fire in Arizona would do the least damage. Like, how much wood is there left to burn in Arizona? Like,
that's true.
Oh no, the cactus. Oh God, my turquoise jewelry collection. No. Oh.
You've never seen so much charred lapis lazuli and bolo tie leather in your life. So and this was my last sentence, and I this is why they should let me write these. Christopher Peckney, born 1992, died for the likes. So there's. Also, I gotta say, like, I think I've seen, the slow motion gender reveal, kind of explosions that he was trying to build. I've seen that on Instagram, and I've also seen the girl popping the balloon with the glitter. And if you film both of those in slow motion, the glitter looks better, it's cheaper, and you will live. So, just saying.
Allegedly. Get some glitter stuck in your windpipe, and all of a sudden, it's R.I.P. Nana.
That would be amazing. I say all this stuff, and then somebody somehow kills themselves with a glitter balloon.
The nerve gas that was inflated into the balloon was immediately released through everywhere.
Yeah, the guy he was like, what? The nerve gas was cheaper than helium. So I just went with nerve gas. I don't know why. I don't know what the problem was.
There was a shortage, Deborah. I'm being environmentally conscious.
We are running out of helium. I heard about it on Joe Rogan. Shit, man. I was going to ask you what I've been, kind of asking all of our guests who've been calling in across the country, and that is, tell me what your pandemic has been like. I haven't gotten the full story because you were nice enough to have me on the Quick Hits Psychic Dolphin Garage where we did some monologue jokes and stuff, but I hadn't really gotten a chance to talk to you about the pandemic. So what's Quar like? Have you seen any weird people, crazy people, neighbors, gender reveal party explosions? What do you got?
Oh man, I wish. Being in Texas during the pandemic is completely bizarre because, at least in terms of my daily life, it is me realizing that there's a pandemic, me acting like there's a pandemic, me stepping outside and realizing that no one else seems to be acting like it's an active pandemic going around places. To give, I think, probably what is in my head the best example, there's a local park I will sometimes visit, or rather I should say I used to visit, because it was a good place to just go be outside, not be kind of quarantined up after a while of going stir crazy. Recently, though, a daycare facility that is on the other side of the park decided to reopen. And so that means that there's a whole bunch of kids that are coming in. That means, though, that the building, after daycare hours are done, becomes the local karate studio, because of course it does.
Oh, boy.
And so then you have those people in gis just kind of milling about with all of these other people who are picking up their kids. And on top of that, the park is right next to a water park. And so that has decided to push forward on like the winter events. Like, we're opening everything up. This current week of ice being excluded. Like, it's in like the 70s right now in Texas. Okay.
Wow. Okay. So wait, when you say winter activities, you mean like they open with like the slides and shit?
Yeah.
Wow.
But they're like, it's a polar bear activity. Whoa, look at you being so crazy to go here when it's like actually kind of warm outside, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have people in swimsuits, people in karate outfits, and toddlers being dragged out by their soccer moms, all converging in one parking lot space. And I'm just able to witness it, being like, this is a mini super spreader event every afternoon at like 4:15.
Oh man, that's so fucking. And of course they're wet, so it's just liquid and spittle and just particles in the air. And then also they're going, yeah, wow, yelling karate things. no good.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. I look forward to there being like an Eastbound and Down movie special getting made about it or something. I'm not quite sure, but so the pandemic life is very weird because that's what's kind of surrounding me. There is this normalization that has taken place. There's also the idea of where like our incredibly right-wing Republican governor is now being called a democrat because he believes that people should finally start wearing a mask.
That happened in Alabama too. We've got our governor Kay Ivey, who is referred to as Governor Meemaw. So give her a Google. You'll see what I mean. But yeah, same exact thing happened to her, where she is the most hardline Christian conservative psychopath, and people are just like, communist, and you're like, what? So
yeah, it's definitely one of those questions of where you have to ask, like, okay, now Greg, is communism in the room with you right now?
Yeah.
What's happening here? So yeah, it's overall though, managing, I've never been more appreciative of Wi-Fi. That's a fantastic thing.
Oh yeah.
Able to keep me connected with everyone. Being able to work remotely is also cool. It's a little interesting with currently now kind of being between jobs in the middle of a pandemic. Thankfully, I'm a awful sports betting addict. So I had developed like a bit of a nest egg, deciding to go all in on the Bucks, which was nice. Not at all dystopic at all that's how I achieved my nest egg, but whatever. So yeah, I trying to now hunt and look for jobs, and then realizing that none of them really care too much about COVID protocols. Like they'll say that, but then they're like, oh, so when can you come in for an interview? We would love to meet you. It's like, well, I would like to, since the job says that it's remote, I would like to, maybe conduct the interview remotely if that's possible.
Yeah. Oh, buddy, I got hit up. I got hit up recently by a comedy club that was like, oh, are you doing indoor shows right now? I'm like, no, but thank you for waiting until this moment to contact me, having never heard from you before.
That's what they want. They want people to make sure that you can come in, maybe do like a Zoom room meeting. Is that something that's popular in stand-up comedy?
Oh yeah, well those are kind of fun. Like I've truthfully, I mean, because the Zoom shows, you don't have to leave your house. I think one of the lasting effects of this pandemic will be no one is ever coming to my house to do a podcast again, ever. Like even because now it's just like, I will Zoom you, like because it's way easier than trying to find parking in East Hollywood, kind of a thing. But so that's
in LA.
That's done.
Oh my god.
That's done. Maybe if I live in the valley and you're in the valley, then sure. But not trying to park in your stupid neighborhood. We'll do this on Zoom. So I think that's over. But they've been running a lot of Zoom kind of stand-up shows and open mics and stuff. I still have yet to do the quote-unquote open mic, but truthfully, the line that distinguishes a show versus a mic is razor thin at this point. So it's
I was gonna say, is that just like 5-minute sets versus 10-minute sets?
Literally that's it. That's the only you got it pretty much. I mean, well, because some of the shows I've done, they've actually had like a decent sized audience and stuff like that.
Also a nice way to build out kind of everywhere, because you're not limited to like one geographic area. So
totally. Well, and I kind of it's almost a different, because a lot of I have friends who when they get booked for their a first like Zoom show, if they haven't done it before, especially like early on, because I had done a few at the beginning and kind of been sort of public about how I kind of like them a little bit.
Okay.
People were like, what is it? What do you do? And I'm just like, just don't treat it like stand up at all. Just go into it and talk to the host the whole time, and then just fuck around and bring some props, because my friend Anna Valenzuela actually put me onto that one. She's like, I'm basically a prop comic when I do Zoom shows. And I was like, okay.
No.
And
no. Using the green screen background for various punchlines.
My friend Brandy Posey, who is fucking hilarious. They had a hoarder who lived next door to them who died at not from COVID, I think, just from being really old, right at the beginning of the pandemic, and they were just taking all the stuff out of her house. And my friend Brandy found a saw, like a handsaw that you would use to saw down a tree, that had a town, like a landscape of a town painted on it.
Oh my God. Oh.
And so she always brings that out whenever she does stand up and like talks about it. And I'm just like, yeah, that is totally like some John Wayne Gacy jailhouse art of like, this is the town I killed with this saw. Like, you know, it's so fucking crazy, but just shit like that, like, you know, get weird. I mean, the one I've been doing on this show a lot is I've got the book right here. I read out of this book from my parents' house, Ghosts and Goosebumps, and it's just a list of superstitions at the end of it. There's ghost stories, and then at the end, you just flip to the end and it just says shit like, if you bite your tongue while eating, it's because you told a lie. You know, things like just shit like that. So,
of course.
Yeah, it's you know, like I said, it's not stand up at all. And if you treat it like that, people are going to be like, you know, it's a little like wooden and weird. But if you just kind of get into it and just fuck around with the hosts and kind of work in your material a little bit, it's kind of like, you know, treat it like people doing
a podcast almost.
Right, a podcast. Yeah. Exactly. Treat it like a podcast or like doing panel on like a talk show or something, kind of a thing. Somewhere in between those two, you know. But yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know if the shit's ever going back to normal, because very similar to stand up, this has demonstrated to so many people that you don't have to have an office, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the office is just there to reinforce structure, I guess, but it's not actually necessary.
I will say though, the dangerous counter side of that coin is like, oh, the place where you live is now the place where you work, so you can always be working in the place that you live, and there's no delineation between that. You can just pull that brutal 16-hour shift.
Yeah, that's very true. As we saw from that story where they're like, oh, well, you know, our network doesn't technically exist, but there's no reason you shouldn't be working. You know. Oh, that's fucking nuts, dude. Oh my God.
The world has changed. It's okay. I can't even eat bad soup without being judged anymore. What the fuck is this? It's my birthday. Let me cough on it as much as I want. What the fuck?
Yeah. It's been a lot of that because I've been in Alabama now for a few months, and yeah, very very similar to what you're talking about. I will say Auburn, where I'm at now, is been pretty well behaved, but everywhere else I've gone, like anywhere outside of the county, it is just there's nothing happening there. What are you talking about?
Has Auburn kind of been like rallying together behind Cam Newton since that video has been circulating around about like some 8th grader talking shit to him at a QB camp?
Oh no, I didn't see that. The most recent Cam Newton thing I saw is where he was like, "Oh, I'm only going to buy 1 suit every week instead of 7."
Yeah,
whatever it was. Yeah.
Respect that ability to just have that much I don't know, preservation for your own budget.
Yeah,
I mean, like, I'm not the starting quarterback I once was anymore. 1 suit a week now.
Yeah, I'm only gonna have 1 ridiculous outfit. No, I haven't heard what happened with Cam at training camp. I'm always interested.
Well,
in Cam
it wasn't
news.
even like a training camp. It was like I mean, I'm sure it's a way for him to get a tax write-off, but it's like one of those charity QB camps and football camps that kids can go to that are in late middle school or early high school. And one of these kids was just dogging on Cam completely.
Where's your dad? You're a free agent. Where's your dad? You're a free agent. Your dad. You're a free agent. You ass. Talk to. Let me. Where's your dad? Where's your pop? You ass.
I love it that it's at a kid's training camp. That's always the best.
Yeah. I mean, he basically was, in my opinion, at least, very nice. Was just like, hey, like, you can think that about me. Just know, like, I've done the work, and I'm just trying to help you do the work too. And the kid just was not very responsive. Let's put it at that. And I thought that this was brilliant because Camden gets to play the good guy as the entire internet descended on this child and just eviscerated him. Like, he had to do the Notes app apology to Cam Newton that was clearly written by his parents.
Oh man, that fucking rules. God, that was I mean, look, talking shit from the grandstands is it's an old American tradition, you know? And now you got to get your parents to write a notes app about trash talking athletes. Like, come on.
Yeah. I can only imagine what those kids' parents think. Like, oh, so like he's not getting a college scholarship anywhere. Okay.
Oh, no,
like,
no. Cam will see to it. Yeah. Shut that down. Yeah. We used to go to like college basketball games too. And when they'd come down, and try to shoot, you go, air ball. That was just fun. That's why
that's part of the home defense experience, It
Right.
also isn't like, you're 45 years old going into a college basketball game and you're like, hey, all right, it's time for me to rep this brand I went to for 3.5 years before I dropped out. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, I guess this wasn't a game. This was a charity thing for children, and he was just getting heckled. So I don't know.
It's just like, he was probably doing the, like, you want to hold a football like this. You want to make sure your footwork is tight. Make sure you don't do drugs. Like, those were probably like his 3 talking points.
This kid's just like, you suck. That's awesome.
You're a 6'6" athletic specimen who is old for a football player, but I think he's like 29. Like, he's not an ancient man by any stretch of the imagination.
I think he's probably 30, 31, something like that at the most.
Yeah, so it just, again, the ball's on this teenager, because it can only come from a teenage Gen Xer, TikTok millennial, whatever you want to call it, style mindset. Like, this person who's been famous for so long has to be ancient because of this. Yeah, whatever.
That rules. Well, Kelton, are you ready for our jam of the day?
Let's do it.
Oh, there it is. That deep synth, that rockin' sensuousness that is Love Bites by Def Leppard.
Oof. Ooh.
I was trying to think what because we haven't covered Def Leppard yet. We got Poison, we've done Motley Crue, we've done Bon Jovi.
You haven't poured sugar all over Def Leppard? You haven't covered them? Come on.
Well, so I that was my first thought. It was like, I'll go straight to Pour Some Sugar on Me, and I'll start reading. And there was a few juicy comments, but the truth is that song is almost so popular that it's hard to really dig in and find the bits of gold, because the way I search for comments, it gets to a point where YouTube becomes overloaded with memory and will freeze up because I've gone 8,000 comments down looking at shit. And YouTube is like, no one's supposed to do this. We're just going to turn off now. So, and I feared that would happen with Pour Some Sugar on Me. So I was trying to think what else. And I was like, power ballad. Let's
right.
Let's go over.
God.
So this is Def Leppard's power ballad, Love Bites. And I was, I didn't know what to expect going in, but I was just immediately grabbed by several of these comments. So we'll start off. Let's get down into the comments here. Camilo Restrepo from 2 years ago. I farted in Trump's mouth. All right, cool. That's on.
Congratulations.
On topic.
Thank you for your service, sir.
there was a lot like that where it was just like, what? Huh? Stephanie Johnson from 1 month ago. Time for the Beach Boys. Key Largo.
Hey, the Beach Boys can be whoever you want. The Beach Boys aren't just a band; they're a state of mind.
State of mind, man. Kokomo, wherever you go. That's what I say, brother.
I do want to know, like, what someone's like musical taste is like. If they're listening to this song, they're like, you know what else I'm going to follow this up with? The sensual power ballad? Beach Boys time. Let's do it. Serving USA.
My theory is that they started on Beach Boys and then passed out, and then it auto played, and when they woke up, it was playing Love Bites by Def Leppard, but they couldn't tell because they were too fucked up, so they were just like, Beach Boys, fuck yeah.
Brian Wilson's new band sucks. I hate
That's too synth heavy. He should be too fat for that sleeveless British Union Jack shirt he's wearing. Jerry Lay from 4 months ago. No. No, I'm not mad. I need to talk to you today, so call this phone, please.
That is definitely someone who got inspired like by the lyrics, was hearing like a specific line and was just, I gotta do this. I gotta reach out there across the universe somehow.
Oh, I am so positive this is someone's grandfather who does not know how to send a text, and he just was pulling up anything on his phone. He was like, his daughter's like texting him while he's trying to text back, but he's on YouTube and he doesn't notice. This person seems to be talking to themselves. CP Canadian from 4 months ago. I hate this song. Reason is 'cause I listen to it too much. I love this song, but I hate it because I listen to it too much. Shut up! Don't listen! It will suck you in!
Sheila, come back! I'm sorry.
See, I think he's telling himself. He's just like, shut up! Yeah. Shut up, my brain! You know what this song does to you. Shut up! Stop it! Yeah.
Now, I don't mean to distract from the comments here, but like my interpretation of this song initially when I heard it versus like my partner's interpretation of the song when she heard it, two wildly different things. You know? Just talking about like, am I who you think of when you're having sex at night or whatever, right? Yeah. And I was just like, oh, well, that's because they were wanting to like have sex, I guess, like with other people and like, do you remember them? Her interpretation, though, was he's so insecure that he is having sex with her and he is wondering, does she still think of him or is it someone else? And that is a much, much more fascinating mindset to want to be.
I kind of like that second interpretation, if for nothing else, if for no other reason, that there is the part where he's like, do you look at yourself in the mirror while you're doing it? And I'm like, he's the lead singer of Def Leppard is the only person who has the mirror on the ceiling situation, I think. Like, that's like a famous rock star thing. I don't think normal women have that, so it must be about him.
Also, just like how creepy would it be if you were to walk into a room with him, there is just the giant mirror above the bed, like. What? I thought we were just coming up here for drinks. Oh, what? Don't worry about that. No. That's for lighting. Yeah. That's.
I shine lasers at it, and the lasers dance around the room. I think this guy is being funny, and if he's being funny, this is a tremendous comment. If he's not, I still love it. Landon Livermore from 7 months ago. I wish I was born in the 60s and grew up in the 70s, lived in the 80s, and then died in the early 2000s.
He really kind of skipped over the developed a crippling Oxycontin and later heroin addiction in the 90s.
I just love a guy who's like, I want to die at 44. What? Why? What?
Although same. Yeah. Take that energy.
Why that age? Usually people are like, live fast and die young, or like, I want to live forever. But then this guy's like, nah, man, right in the middle. Right when things slow down and get pretty normal in my brain and body. That's when I want to go.
I want to live till 44, but also, as I put in my dating profile, 37. Yeah. That's what I want.
This guy, I love this guy. Manny Gonzalez from 3 weeks ago. Wolf, Aries always has been the man. Not. Look you with your lame self. No swag, conversation, and austicity. I looked that up. It's not a word. No swag, conversation, and austicity. Just always crying for other people's petty. Well, here is Manny's beast side. Dale, I'm done. You all. Just simple Manny is out. Good luck for you and your future woman. Copy that, Wolf. Cows going moo moo. I am the big bad wolf. And then a bunch of F's.
Well, that may seem completely incoherent, but I appreciate that someone was able to just decipher the Zodiac Codex and then put that in the YouTube comments.
I mean, it's got, central characters here. We got Manny, we've got Future Woman, and we got Dale. Mm-hmm. And I think it's, Manny is asserting his dominance here by referring to himself in the third person and calling himself the big bad wolf here. So seems like Dale and Future Woman just got future endeavored by Manny.
Don't count on Manny when he's down. That's, I think, what we need to be doing here.
Oh, and now we've reached my new section called I Don't Believe You. Phaser Beam 81 from 2 weeks ago. I've been into hip-hop all my life, particularly hardcore gangster rap music. But when I heard this, I was like, what the heck have I been missing out on? Because this is really good music. Old school rock is awesome. Long live old rock music for life, boy. I'm 33-year-old black man. I love 80 rock. He gave me life. The 80s, baby.
Oh, no. The person kept getting older and more white woman as the typing came out. Like, this will convince my grandkids that it's cool.
100%.
Movies little pump when you have this.
That's exactly what this is. As soon as they say that, where they're like, you might not believe this, but I'm black. And then you're like, yeah, but what? Okay. It's I love this. Yeah. Again,
historically speaking, like, what is the hit rate for accuracy of that statement? You might not believe this, comma, but I'm black. Many people who are actually black have said that.
No one. And it's like, I know black people who like hair metal. It's not that weird. I don't know why.
Oh yeah, I had a friend whose dad was just obsessed with hair metal, and the reasoning was because on MTV, before they would air like whatever the Michael Jackson music video or Lionel Richie music video might be, they went through like the Metallicas and those types of genres, and so like he knew all of that, which was just mind-blowing for me, because I was just like, oh, so you know multiple genres of music. You're not lame like my parents here. I see. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Well, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, people forget about that monoculture, man. It was like MTV was the thing every fucking person was watching at a certain point. So yeah, that makes sense. There was a lot of this, so I just got kind of a best of all the horny ladies in these comments. Symphony Alexandra from 4 weeks ago. Best rock ballad ever composed. Contemporaneously soft, sensual, and guitar string brutal. Gives me a serious stack of mahogany each time. Yes, girls get wood risen too.
That's the title of like a romance novel, The Mysterious Stack of Mahogany.
I just love when you run into people like this who use expressions that no one has ever used before or since, and you're just like, you're just such a curious person, and I love it. Betty Ann Simovec from 1 month ago. When we make love, Robert, do you let go? Making love to you drives me crazy. I want you in my bed always. When you are in me, I am getting through to you. Do you think about me like our fantasies, Robert? Fire and desire is what I feel. Back. That is a B with several A's behind it at the end.
Well, that fits right in line with Manny's prediction, right? Of wolf, wolf, moo, moo.
Here's your sheep, Manny. Wolf man, come get your sheep. That one, I wouldn't have really included that one because it almost felt too personal, but the mysterious bah at the end was like, well, it's going in there.
It's inviting something there. That line of the, like, when you are in me, I feel like I am getting through to you. That is like taken right out of a couples counseling audio log. Like, that is some wild shit.
Elizabeth Newberry from 6 months ago. I'm a full-grown redheaded woman, and at 4'9", hey, I stopped growing at 14, but good stuff comes in little bundles. I wish that was me on that bed with my red hair everywhere. Can you tell I'm addicted to this song? Damn it, 80s child. Ooh, come on, baby. I'm in the mood. Been for a while now. Someone please go fuck Elizabeth, please. We're just ready for
9.
Yeah, she's 4'9", 4'9".
I'm now just picturing like an 80s scene where, you have your hot, attractive couple. They're getting busy like in a truck. And then right behind them, it's this lovely lady and like Peter Dinklage from the 80s in a smart car.
The last one here in this section, Rose 8357 from 6 months ago. And this is all caps. Joe Elliott! OMG! Saxy guy! What a voice! Love them all. Drive me crazy. Babe, I love you, babe. So deep inside me, yeah! So, again...
Oh no. I just had a horrifying thought. When you're watching if you're watching on YouTube on your smartphone and you select leave a comment, what if like your Google Voice or Google Assistant goes off?
It's speech to text.
Yes, that is. Oh my God.
The thing that interested me in that comment is the spelling, because I didn't misspeak. She says saxy guy, SAXY, and then crazy babe. And I just couldn't help but read that as Steve Martin's a wild and crazy guy. That's all I could think about. Sexy guy, wild and crazy babe.
See, there needs to be a comeback for those characters, because in today's modern time, it sounds great. Like, I'm a wild and crazy guy. Sometimes I go out, I wear 2 masks on my face to help me stay protected.
If people listening have never heard A Wild and Crazy Guy, the album, the level of ape shit that the crowd goes when he just says that one thing is mind-boggling.
Comedy was so easy.
I'm telling you, man.
In the 70s, if you had one catchphrase, you would build a movie franchise with 9 sequels related to it.
Oh, J.J. Walker is still touring with the Dynamite. I've just got. I had a few, but I had only one that I just found truly hilarious and possibly T-shirt worthy from the. You want to take a seat? The Chris Hansen section.
Yeah.
So slap it on a T-shirt right next to Dang Son Nom 9. Noah Putnam from 3 years ago. This is a song, and I'm 13. Right to the point. Hit me up, creeps. I'm 13. This is indeed a song.
That is about as DTF as a minor gets in the YouTube comments section. What more do you need to know? I'm 13. This song is playing. Let's make some magic happen.
Yeah, let's set something up. Are you willing to drive to my location and possibly be filmed by Dateline? Come on. This is Dino Bloxy 1 from 2 months ago. It's the most horrible song in the world, and they don't know how to sing well. They sing ugly. I sing better. I'm famous. I made $10 million a day, and these guys, they only disgust of music. And that one's one of those, do you need to sit on the potty for a little bit?
Yeah, you're mad. You make so much money. That's right. That's why it's okay. Huh? Who are you actually angry with? God, who knows what this person went on to become? It'd be weird if it was like Lord saying this in the comment section instead. Like, oh, weird. Okay, well, you proved him wrong, I guess. I mean, I enjoyed red lights. Congratulations.
This next one I can't help but imagine is in full goth regalia, hanging upside down from one of those inversion tables while they type this. Faye Scribe from 6 years ago. This song reminds me that every time I try to get close to the divine goddess that creates reality, it makes me go insane. and it reminds me of a lot of little cosmic rules that keep me trapped in her illusions. And I cry because I remember a glimpse of what it's like to be her lover.
Oh no! See, you pictured goth guy. I pictured Hotep incel dude.
Either way, my man fucked reality, bro. That's what he's saying.
It's a very strange crossover. I don't think too many comments could count for each subgenre quite like that.
This one actually got a reply. This is the first like Jerry Springer first and last name fucking call out that got a reply. And I'm not sure if it's from the guy she's talking about, but I hope so. Teresa.
There could be a whole world of this in that case then. My God, I had thought of that.
Yeah, well, because usually like they just throw it out there and it's always crazy because they will give first, last, and sometimes middle names in this case. And you're just like, boy, you know, again, the big question with this whole bit, who is this for? But in this case, somebody responded, Teresa Johnson from 2 months ago. I will never fall for anything you say, Gregory Allen Johnson. Molly could keep your lying ass. You don't care about anything or anyone. I don't believe anything you say anymore, and I can't believe I had you on a pedestal. Not anymore, though. Molly can keep you. I am not going to be hurt anymore, and I've never met anyone like you before you. Heartless. And then the reply comes from Christopher Kelly, who is not Gregory Allen Johnson, but seems to have some knowledge of the situation. And I've never seen anyone start with this. Dame, what I tried and do never did before, and is reflected before you saying shit. The next day, you may be lying. What the hell was I thinking? And if you still feel the same way, let it rip. No regrets. I'm like, he has to know her, because if not, it's even crazier than the initial thing that was said.
Gregory Allen Johnson, or as my friends call me, Christopher Kelly.
Yeah, yeah, that's the name he uses when he's on the lam from time to time.
I hadn't thought about that, but you know, it would be a really weird way for people to try and like circumvent various methods for trying to talk to each other. You know, like if you're in prison, be like, Barbara, this one's for you. It's our song, please. Don't forget about me. No response for 6 years. Just.
Mira from 3 weeks ago. This one's short and sweet. Weirdly, my parents told me I was made to this song. I'm currently 19 years old and I fucking love it.
Oh no. Oh.
Mom and Dad, please. I don't ever want to know that. Please withhold that information from me.
Yeah, that's also weird because the song came out in like 88.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, exactly.
88.
Yeah.
So she's 19. 19 meaning this song came out, I mean, I'm going to just ballpark it here, after September 11th, 2001. So,
yeah.
Someone thought, like, after 9/11, you know what I need to get in the mood? Some Def Leppard love bites.
Yeah. Hey, baby, I called that 1-800 number and got the Power Ballads Time Life collection. Y'all want to get frisky?
If you could only see the way.
No, that's Buzz Ballads. No, I mean the good one. Don't come in here with no Buzz Ballads. I like Power Ballads. It's totally different.
Two legally separate entities for you.
All right, I got two more. And this, by the way, I want to say this person, they're getting, you know, a golden jacket or something because this commenter, Ronald C. Hefner, is making his 7th appearance on the Jam of the Day. He is
wow.
So I have seen this guy comment on Higher by Creed, Bad Company by Bad Company, Click Click Boom by Saliva, Thunder Kiss 65 by White Zombie, I Can't Drive 55 by Sammy Hagar, and Unskinny Bop by Poison. He's been on all of those. And now he's here.
Does he qualify for like Goods from the Woods Hall of Fame at some point?
I think he has to. But the other thing, you know what sucks about YouTube is you can't, unless maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody knows how to use YouTube better than me can tell me if I'm wrong. You can't click on a person and then see where they've commented, because if you could, I would just go down the list of shit this guy's commented on, because he knows where he's like my little truffle pig. If I see him, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good. There's something here. But his shit also never makes any sense. Ronald C. Hefner from 11 months ago. Let's see. I think I remember a Chinny Nolan thing called That's Her Thing. We take it in puppet. I see you wedding was delight. Zachary over there looking 34. I remember the OK Car Wash and smiling at horsey shows. You see my bounce room? Boybot render his pop TV in room. My short's too short. Carl can see in the itty bitty spider. I'm in Snooky closet.
You know, like I some people didn't like Tenet, but I really enjoyed what Chinny Nolan did there. You know, it's the plot is that it makes sense. You know, that's an apt summary.
TT offered the finger roll. Not one, but you see my ass rolling. You have to eat it. Oh, I'll just like the tip. Just the tip. Just the tip. But plunge my hammers out into eggs cabinets, you hootie. The Labrador, Old Yeller, but not Virginia. My easy way to fuck down Pink Topper was Harry Potter's killer.
I'm sorry. I need to jot this down, because that is the first time I've ever heard reference to a vagina as an egg cabinet. That is art. That is.
I think this guy, like, if he pursued slam poetry, like, people would be like, I don't get it, but man, it's art, dude. You can't say it's not art.
I'm picking up some real. I know a guy named Grav, and he is. He's 9/10 on this planet, but that 1/10, those beautiful moments in between, yeah. Ah, man, egg cabinet. That's gonna become my new.
Plunge my hammers out into eggs cabinets. You hootie, the Labrador. And finally, Dennis Ritchie from 3 weeks ago. I remember making love to my first real girlfriend, Michelle, to this classic rock. We were all alone in a place of freedom, too naturally refreshing for millions to even imagine. If you're reading this, Michelle, I remember our amazing time on Lake Sisibi. Have you had fun vilifying me since then? Here's the turn. I love the times. Stay healthy for the pandemic always. I'm still going strong. Yes, 3 decades later on the West Coast. Also, I have been able to successfully replace you. I will always miss you, even though I must warn my younger brothers and sisters that carnal knowledge at a young age bites like nothing else.
Whoa.
And I have to think that this is this number that he's using is intentional, but it's still very funny to imagine. I've now seen 69 nations since those days, and I live in the mountains of British Columbia with some new local honey. My message is one of hope for young people. Even this shall pass, so keep your head up.
Wow. Oh, my God. It's the thing that like rings true in my head is what he said at the very beginning of my first real girlfriend, Michelle.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, the other ones, imaginary ones, all those can go to hell. I forgot about them, but you, as I'm out here in a lake in Ontario, just trying to remember about getting a hand job 3 decades ago.
But then going the extra step of being like, and I know you're talking shit about me. I just want you to know I'm fucking some other girl now. So how do you like that? He says into the void.
How awful an experience was it if 3 decades later you are still telling people about that one time you jerked off a 15-year-old on Clifton Island?
Oh, Christ. And that is our jam of the day. Kelton, please tell people where they can find you and your wonderful podcast on the internet, sir.
Oh, hey, everyone. I'm Kelton. I am a fully grown adult man. My Twitter handle is @sexconfetti because that's what you do when you're emotionally mature and not at all stunted. I have a couple of different podcasting projects, most notably Psychic Dolphin Garage. It's a leftist collective that they do all different kinds of projects. I mostly focus on the Patreon, but occasionally they let me out into the wild to do the regular episodes, and that's always a blast. I also do something called Garbage In, Garbage Out with a gentleman whose alias is Griff Shop. That's like a pop culture review. It's, mostly movies and TV shows. So if you want to, I guess, hear bad things about the 2007 film Stardust, or upcoming about Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Oh my
once
God,
that comes out. Yeah.
Yes, I do. I'm so fucking excited. I was telling somebody I laughed for 10 minutes straight when someone told me it was 4 hours long. I was like, I can't even.
I have great news for you, by the way, Rivers.
Oh, yeah?
Here. Not only is it 4 hours long, it was originally going to be 4 1-hour episodes that then they decided to push together, meaning I have no idea what the plot or pacing of this thing is going to be. I'm absolutely at a loss as to what's going to happen.
They reverse Kill Build it. They're like, no, squish it together. It needs to be longer.
That's what we need. We only, added 7 new minutes of film. We recorded 1 new scene. So all the other B-roll footage that then they added $70 million to try and finish the effects.
God, that's so funny. I can't wait.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the image of Joker Jesus that was circulating around yesterday, but real, want to know how I got these thorns kind of energy coming from him. So,
yeah, you want to know how I got these scars? Romans. It was the Romans. They fucked my shit up. It hurts.
So. I'm very excited about that project. Also excited. We're going to be doing quick hits again in March. A few weeks from now. So I'm very excited to tell more bad monologue jokes.
Oh, so fun. Thank you again for having me on that. That was tremendous.
Of course. It was so nice to have actual comedians on, because I had done it as a limited series, 4 different occasions. And so having mostly podcasters 1 week, mostly comedians 1 week, kind of like some internet friends another week, just going through. And having comedians on made it definitely the best one, in my opinion, by far.
Oh, that's good. That's good to hear.
We all got in, we told jokes. It was a fun time. No one unveiled too much trauma from their childhood. Not going to point any names out on another episode, but it was great. It was great.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, everybody needs to go check out all of Kelton's wonderful projects and follow him on Twitter @sexconfetti. And thanks for talking to me, man. We'll do this again real soon.
Please. I need to know what energy drink to bring next time, though. So,
Give my man in the UK a rating for that one, because he's keeping track of all these.
I will say 2 out of 10 for 3D's Candy Punch, because again, it is both sweeter and saltier than you would imagine, and that's not a great.
Oh God, yeah. Ooh, I like taffy flavored soda. Jesus. All right, man. We'll talk soon. Thanks again.
Sounds great. Bye.
Sorry, I just lost my mind just for.
But that's okay for me. Because I am a wild and
That's going to do it for us this week. Thank you all so much for tuning in. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram @Rivers Langley, and you can find the show on Twitter @TheGoodsPod. Also, go subscribe to us over at youtube.com/thegoodspod. We actually just hit 1,500 subscribers, so that's very cool. I've been adding tons of clips from old shows there, so go check them out. We are a completely listener-supported show, and the best way to support us is to head over to patreon.com/thegoodspod. Join the Tower of Power. It's just $5 a month. That's the price of a
cup of coffee in the big time.
Going to be recording a new badass Bigfoot-themed bonus show with our old pal Rick Wood. That's coming up this weekend, and it'll be going up on our Patreon as soon as I can get it out. Hope to see y'all over there. The second best way to support this show is to take a pause for the cause and head on over to Apple Podcasts. Find our show, rate, review, and subscribe. Also, tell a friend about our show, because that shows the attitude of gratitude. And as Mr. Goodnight always says, if you don't have the attitude of gratitude, daddy, fuck you. And by the way, shout out to a real one, R.I.P. Lawrence Ferlinghetti. We'll see you next time.
The world is a beautiful place to be born into, if you don't mind happiness not always being so very much fun. If you don't mind a touch of hell now and then, just when everything is fine, because even in heaven, they don't sing all the time. The world is a beautiful place to be born into, if you don't mind some people dying all the time, or maybe only starving some of the time, which isn't half so bad if it isn't you. Oh, the world is a beautiful place to be born into, if you don't much mind a few dead minds in the higher places, or a bomb or two now and then in your upturned faces, or such other improprieties as our name-brand societies prey to, with its men of distinction and its men of extinction, and its priests and other patrolmen, and its various segregations and congressional investigations and other constipations that our fool flesh is heir to. Yes, the world is the best place of all for a lot of such things as making the fun scene and making the love scene and making the sad scene and singing low songs and having inspirations and walking around looking at everything and smelling flowers and goosing statues and even thinking and kissing people and making babies and wearing pants and waving hats and dancing and going swimming in rivers on picnics in the middle of the summer and just generally living it up. Yes, but then, right in the middle of it, comes the smiling mortician.